Just waiting for the live button to go on, and we are live, I guess. Yeah, we're live. So, what's up? We're back. Yes, we took a week vacation. Um, Seemed like an eternity, but it was only a week. We're back for volume 11. It's me as usual. We got Mr. John Steele,
What up? What up?
Mr. Brian Goes Blues.
What up?
Back, number 4 in a row. So, well, yeah, we're doing something different today. It's not movie related, but it is a part of our childhood, part of our uh, upbringing, part of our hobbies back in the day, maybe still now. And that's video games. So retro video games is our topic. So
Yep.
please feel free to participate in the chat as always. Let us know if you're watching. Um, but pretty much the same rules apply. Games pre-2000. So I'm not gonna, look it up. I don't have the exact dates, but pretty much I can tell you if it's PS1 or before, it's gonna make the cut. So, I think PS2 came out right at 2000 or something like that.
Yep.
But there was also I think did Dreamcast make it or Saturn? Which one came first? Saturn.
Saturn.
I
Okay,
believe
so
Saturn
Saturn.
did. Saturn.
Saturn makes it, and I want to say GameCube makes it, right?
No,
No.
GameCube does not make it.
Okay, so Super NES, that was the latest Nintendo
Yep.
that makes it. Okay, and then of course Sega systems such as Sega CD, Sega Genesis. We could go back as far as you want, guys. When video games were first made, Pong, if that was your game, wasn't
Yep.
mine, but Atari, uh, Apple IIe in school. When I was at school, we had Apple IIes. We had Commodore 64. That was my first video game system, so to speak. And then Atari, of course. But a majority of my list is going to be NES. I never had an NES, believe it or not, but I would always go to a friend's or my cousin's house and play. Always beg to stay the night, and we would just fucking stay up till 4 in the morning playing that shit. But how about you guys? What systems did you own, or were your favorites, or what you have the most of on your list?
I mean, probably mostly Genesis for me, because that
The
was
the
that
Sega
was
Master System?
no, the
Oh,
regular
Sega
Sega
Genesis.
Genesis. Yeah,
Okay.
that was the one I probably played most and got into the most. But the first thing I had was NES.
Okay. How about you,
Uh,
John? John?
I had a couple home consoles. Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You guys hear me?
yeah.
All right.
Yep.
I had a couple of home consoles growing up. Much later, probably when I was like a teen. By that time, we were able to afford it, or at least lease it to afford it. But older, I bought my own systems. By '91, I was already 18. I was already in the military, and at one time, I had the Super NES and I had the Sega Genesis at the same time. So there was a bunch of different games I had for both of those. But yeah, and then just throughout the years, I had some other type of systems going on to the present. So most of mine are probably NES, Super NES, but I had a couple surprises in there for you guys. So all right, we're gonna have that too. That's it.
All right. So, as usual, I think we should go in our favorites, our number ones first, and go down.
Mm-hmm.
And if you guys have substitutes, we could do that again. If someone mentions um, a game that you already have further down on your list, you can substitute it when you come to it if you want. But if you don't have a long list, then just name it. Again, like video games are something that I kind of lost interest. I do have a PS4. I do have some games, but I really have to be in the mood. The last game I played was Witcher 3, and I really enjoyed that because previously I loved those kind of RPG games on the PS3, PS2. But before Witcher 3, really, I haven't played a game and beat it for previous like 5-6 years. So I just kind of lost interest and got into more of the movies and sports and stuff like that as opposed to video games. It's hard for me to just sit there, and plus I don't have anybody, like I know a lot of people that are adults love playing like sports games online that they have people that they could play against, but I don't know, it just kind of lost interest.
Yeah.
But anyway, do you guys remember what was the order last week? Who went first? Who went second? Who went third?
Damn.
I think it was you, John, then me, and then went back to you. Something.
Okay.
We could go first, Brian, this time.
Yeah, let's go Brian, John, then me.
That's fine.
All right. What's your favorite retro video game before the year 2000?
Man, I don't know if it's gonna show up on my phone at all, but I'm looking at pictures on my phone for these games. But my favorite one is Demon Sword. I mean, you can see that, but probably not. But it's a pretty cool game on NES. It's like really hard to see on my phone there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just like a sword, kind of a sword sorcery type game where you just go around like jumping off of buildings with a huge sword, and the sword would grow as you surpass levels and stuff. It was on regular Nintendo. It was a really cool game. Like I just loved it. Did
you own it?
Yeah, I owned it, but I gave all my NES and my Super Nintendo stuff away a few years ago. So.
Did you beat it?
Yeah, I beat it.
Okay, so it's one of those games that you.
You start off with like a regular sword, and then it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger as you progress through the levels.
Oh, something
yeah,
that's bigger during your teenage years. Oh,
yeah.
All right. I actually haven't heard of it, but I wouldn't be surprised if I played it.
The cover of it. The cover of it looks like a Conan type character on the front. He's got a six-pack of abs and all that shit. So.
Yeah, I have a couple similar games, more popular titles that are sword and sorcery. But, dude, I wouldn't mind, is there any way of getting those kind of games on like a next-gen console? Do sometimes, like a PlayStation,
sometimes
you can have some Nintendo games, or no, you have to go Nintendo to get those?
So if you have a Wii U, sometimes games that were on the NES or SNES are downloadable for the Wii U, and sometimes you can do that. Not all of them, but sometimes. Yeah.
More of the classic games, but yeah, they're on there.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, we got Justin being myself. He's in the chat and listing his top 10. So cool, man. We ain't gonna read it, but maybe after we're done with our list, we'll go through it. But just by looking at it, you got some good ones there.
Yeah.
All right, John, you are up.
All right, so for me, is a game from the Super NES that came out in 1993, but I actually had it around 1994, and that is, I don't have it with me because I don't have this system anymore, but that is Super Street Fighter 2, The New Challengers, and that's once they brought in new players. I think they brought in T-Hawk, which was the Native American character. He had a lot of cool moves. I think they brought in like 4 to 5 new characters, and I remember, I was in the military and I had the SNES, and a couple of the guys had it, and we would always like fight up against each other. Like Ryu and Ken, and like some people would like swear by using those characters, and then I would always experiment with just about everybody so I could get good with every character and shit and beat the fuck out of people. But I'd say as far as games, that's my favorite game, and that's my favorite genre of games are fighting games.
Okay.
Like beat 'em up.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have Street Fighter, any form of Street Fighter on my list. But I played the shit
Mm-hmm.
out of it, and it's one of those games that shit I would always blow through a wad of quarters. Back in the day, what was it like? Early '90s, maybe
Mm-hmm.
early mid '90s. Anyways, I remember going down to the local, mini mart, and there'd be a bunch of kids in the neighborhood, and you know how you would just stick your quarter on the screen that you got next and shit. Oh, it was a competition, man. I would normally play Blanca, um,
Hmm.
but at the when you had it at home on the console, shit, my shit was I would always get either Bison or Sagat, man. Tiger.
Oh,
That's my
Tiger
shit.
uppercut.
Yeah. Sonic boom.
Yep.
But yeah, my number one is a game I remember. This is probably the game I stayed over at my cousin's. He had the console NES, and this was the first game that we actually took turns playing. It was a one-person game. We took turns playing to beat, and we stayed up till like 4 a.m. Friday night, and then the next night, like we got in trouble because we were tired and slept in, and that's all we did all weekend. And then we finally beat it on the Sunday. After doing everything, and that is The Legend of Zelda. So the
Oh.
original, yes, it fucking having to. My favorite part was having to find those secret fucking passageways and bombing the bushes or the rocks to get certain secrets and stuff.
Yeah.
But man, like I said, it was so crazy because there were some frustrating parts, some frustrating enemies. But I thought the boss at the end was what's his name? Not Bowser. I forget that fucking pig, that dog pig dude.
Ganon.
Ganon, yes. So yeah, I shoot him with the arrow and shit. But that to me was like that's what set it off towards like my love for like RPGs, for games, adventure games like that you would binge to beat, because I would play other games like shit 12, 13, 14 hours straight, man. You have your Mountain Dew, you have your fucking cheese puffs, good to go.
Yeah, I actually have that one on my list. I got the game too,
Yeah, sweet.
the gold cartridge and everything.
Yeah, that was also why it was cool. It was because that fucking gold cartridge. And
Yeah.
then I don't have part two, but I enjoyed the series. But to a certain point, it just got. I never had a SNES. I rarely played it at friends' house because it was like for me, I was pro Sega. I always fell into the pro Sega, pro Sony um, kind of consoles. All right, number two, Brian.
Number two,
Frosty Knives is in the chat.
probably my number two favorite is like more of a kiddie game, but is also on NES is probably Bubble Bobble. You ever played that one?
Mm-hmm.
Where you're like a couple of dinosaur little characters and you blow bubbles into different art like items or enemies, and you pop. You just go level to level, like the screen would just go up and go into the next level. It was like 100 levels or something like that, I think. But that was just always a real fun game playing with two people, especially. You'd team up and just have a good time playing it.
Yeah, that was a good one, man. I like that one too.
Yep.
So, do you have that one still or no?
No, I don't. I don't have that many games left from my childhood. I sold them off. But that was
I
one.
got rid of a lot of mine too, but then I was like, you know what? You got into that nostalgic mode, and I was like,
Yeah.
I want these back. That type of thing, you know. Like, I'm kind of wishing I had like Super Street Fighter 2, like right now to play or something.
Yeah. Yep.
You know. But yeah, that's cool, man. Um, for me, okay, my number two is from the NES, from 1988, and that would be Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yep.
That's, I guess if you guys can see that. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
and this is actually my original Super Mario Brothers 3. Still works. Um, I, s- I think for me, out of the original Super Mario Brothers that came out in that era, I think that was my favorite. Versus part one, part two. Um, I think it was the most fun. It had the most things going on as far as like abilities. Also, it's like one of those games where if your friend had it, you could call him up and on the phone and be like, "Hey, did you get to this part yet?" And you're like kind of going back and forth, like, and they're telling you like giving you tips, and you're giving them tips, that type of thing. I remember doing shit like that, or meeting people in the schoolyard and being like, or at school and being like, "Hey, did you get past such and such?" And they'll tell you, you got to do this, or you got to do this." So it was always fun back then, collaborating with other people, or even playing at the same time with other people. This is a game that I played with other people as well. So that type of stuff, man. Real fun.
Yeah. Super Mario 3. It was a step above like Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 2, in that you introduce those other outfits and stuff that they could
Mm-hmm.
fly and shit. So I never really got into it or played it that much, but I know that's a lot of people's favorites of the series. Um, just real quickly, just like to shout out Patrick Holmes, Frosty Knives 13, uh, and Justin being myself 352 for being active in the chat. Sorry if I fall behind on your comments, but I'm not gonna really name the games. I'll read them, but I won't say it out loud.
Yes.
Thank you.
But so far, you guys have good games, and thanks for joining us. We have 7 watching currently.
Nice.
My second game, and this is hard. Like I said, the ranking, it you know, my 2 through 15 can all intermix because they were games that I played and that I loved. But number 2, I loved just because I was so competitive, and I also watched a lot of wrestling. This was the time that I got into wrestling. Um, that is none other than pro wrestling. So, uh, characters like Starman, King Slender, Puma. Who was the guy that's Amazon? He like freaking bit you and shit. Uh, and then, but I just remember loving to do Starman, like running against the rope and then doing that fucking lariat, the and then the drop kick, the standing drop kick. That was my
Yeah.
shit. People would get frustrated because you would grapple, and then your ass would always just constantly do that fucking flip. It was irritating. And then
Mhm.
I wasn't good at King Slender, but when he got you like in that torture rack, damn,
Oh,
yeah, that was frustrating. And then of course the claw. I think it was King Puma that had that he would just grab your face and just go.
yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, man, I loved wrestling at the time. I was into the WrestleManias and the pay-per-views or the videotapes. Back then, I didn't have like cable, couldn't order them, but I would always, as soon as they were released on VHS, I would watch them. And then you would have your Saturday night main events, but a lot of the times, you know, those characters didn't match the WWF, but I would like, you know, pretend they were someone else, you know, like King Slender was Hulk Hogan and shit like that. But yeah, that I just, it's not the greatest compared to, you know, anything now, but that was, to me, as far as a wrestling game, that was the shit, because, you know, you could climb turnbuckles, you could run against the rope, throw people against the rope, and other wrestling games that came before that were shit. You were just punching and kicking.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
All right. Number 3.
Number three for me is Pac-Man. I had the Atari cartridge here.
Wow.
Wow.
As fuck. But yeah, this is actually in black and white too. It's not even in color yet. But yeah, I always love Pac-Man. Everybody knows that game. Go to any arcade that still has an arcade, they at least have Pac-Man usually. So, but yeah, you just eat the little dots, run away from the ghosts. Even kids that don't know what it's about and have seen the movie Pixels now, so.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Classic, man.
Classic, man. They made like
Yep.
how many Pac-Man games too? Tons.
Tons. Yep.
Yeah.
You had like fucking Pac-Man bowling.
Yeah. They made Pac-Man to where he's like, I think on PlayStation 1 or 2, where he's like just walking around like a Crash Bandicoot style character, you know?
Yep.
They've gone like fully 3D with him now and shit.
Yeah, I remember playing that. It was pretty fun. Oh. Then of course, like Miss Pac-Man, because you know all they did was throw a bow on it and some lipstick, but it was still Pac-Man. But you know that was fun too, because I remember playing.
Yeah, Miss Pac-Man, because it had color and the fruits were a little bit, you know, better.
Yeah.
Or they had introduced fruits in that one, so it was more like colorful, and so, you know, you get a lot of people as soon as that came out would prefer Miss Pac-Man.
I got Miss Pac-Man too.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
I got
wow.
I got Junior Pac-Man also, like somewhere. He had the little like twirly little cap on, you know, with the like arrow spinning cap, whatever. Yeah.
With Brian breaking out the Atari and shit.
I know. I don't have.
That's one thing I didn't sell. I didn't sell my Atari shit. I still have like 30 games for Atari.
Damn.
But.
Wow. All right. My number 3, which I don't have, and I'd like to see if I can get, is another NES game that came out in '87. And this is another one I just played the fuck out of, man. I mean, once I found out the code to get right to him, I kept fucking going right to him until I beat his ass. And that is Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I mean, popular fucking game, man. It just I mean, before that was just regular Punch-Out. But then, you know, then they put out Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. And regular Punch-Out was fun too. And if I remember right, at the arcade, the regular Punch-Out kind of had you as like this green kind of like guy with holes in him, and you kind of like a first person type of thing. But then when they came out for on the consoles and stuff, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, like they had a lot of the same characters, but the last person you had to fight out was obviously Mike Tyson. And it was, you know, and once I found that code out, I was going right to him every time until I beat it. And then when they're like, oh shit, like nobody could beat it. And then once people found out you beat it, they're like, they wanted the code. And they're like, oh, how do you do it? Like there's a system, you know, you got to figure it out type of thing. And that, you know, that's another thing. Back then, man, there was, you know, we didn't have internet where you could go on and watch like playthroughs and stuff. I mean, there were the Nintendo books that came out and like guides, but you know, you still had to have skill to play some of these games to even pull off some of the stuff that you needed to pull off. But yeah, for me, man, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out coming in at number 3. So.
Yeah, I never beat that game. It got to the point where I don't know who was after Bald Bull. I could get past Bald Bull, but after that, it was like I gave up. It was kind of too hard for me. But I think there was Bald Bull, and then there was someone else. Maybe that dude that like disappeared, that Arabian dude. I don't know.
No, I think I remember. Yeah, he was a hard motherfucker to beat. Like when I remember playing that.
But you know, Glass Joe, Don Flamenco, those were easy. But when I don't know. I just didn't have the patience to like dodge. I always wanted to punch, and I think that's what frustrated me. But yeah, I remember.
So
I don't know if I used the code or my friend got me up to it, but I remember like fucking Mike Tyson shit, couple punches, dude, gone, man, I'm gone. But we got Tierra West. What up? What up, Tierra West? Balrog was supposed to be Mike Tyson, but they didn't have the rights to Mike Tyson's name. But if you look at Balrog, you know that it's missing that front tooth, or it has that gold tooth, kind of the same hairdo. But Balrog in Street Fighter 2 was supposed to be a Mike Tyson character.
Yep.
My number 3 is probably one of my. Even though the graphics don't hold up, the gameplay was pretty darn fun. And I would always play the Raiders because of number 34, Bo Jackson. That is Tecmo Bowl. So. Yeah, that was fun, man. Tecmo Bowl, you just handed off to Bo Jackson. His ass was gone. But it was just cheesy. I know they had that at the time. Then they had 10-yard fight. But to me, you know, my first experience really understanding the game of football and playing it on a video game was Tecmo Bowl. So I never got into Super Tecmo Bowl, but very fun when you also throw those Hail Mary bombs and somehow you catch it. But it's pretty fun. Right, Brian?
All right. Number 4 for me is a NES game. This is Double Dragon 2.
Nice.
I always like that one more than the original. That was a lot more fun. Yeah. Sweet. I don't have that. I wish I had that still, man. Yeah, it's fun as hell. Yeah, I was a big fan of all those, like, walk around and kicking, punching people and shit. And I think you had knives, and you could throw the knives in that game.
Yep.
But, yeah, that was always fun.
I like
grab the whip.
Yeah, crack the whip.
Couldn't you do, like, tag team moves and shit?
I don't know about that one. Maybe in the third one. Not sure about the second one. I know you could do jump.
Or a DDT. You could do something, or flip them. You could do something that I liked it because you grabbed them and did something to them. Whether it was a DDT or a suplex or something.
I knew you headlocked him and did something with him after that, but wasn't sure.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah.
There was like a flip move, and there was a thing where you grab their hair and you need them in the face and shit.
Yeah, you kept seeing them pop, pop. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a fun ass game.
Wow, man. All right, now I'm glad you said that, Brian. And actually, I wanted to show that Double Dragon 2, the Revenge, right? This didn't make my list. I do own this one, but my favorite one was actually the first Double Dragon, and that came out in '87. And the first time I ever played it was at the arcade. I'm glad Frosty Knives is here because he can back me up on this. We used to go to this place called the Pizza Man, and they had that game, Double Dragon, and we were just fucking like, whoa, like we were fucking amazed with it. And every chance we got where we hung out together, we'd somehow go to that Pizza Man and play that fucking Double Dragon. And one time, my mom gave me money to go pick something up, and I ended up fucking like blowing all those to $20, and I fucking blew all the money on that fucking game, man. And she was fucking heated, and I got my ass whipped when I got home, like real bad, man. But so yeah, I first played Double Dragon at the arcade with Frosty Knives. This is the first time I ever played it, and then I had it for the NES in like '88. I had this one too. I'm around the same time. So yeah, that's my fourth favorite is Double Dragon, man. Just probably one of the ones I played the most at the arcade, and then on the NES. But yeah, so all right.
Was that your number? Was that your number 4?
Yeah, that was my number 4.
Awesome.
Okay, cool. All right, my number 4. I'm gonna go with Skate or Die. So I just remember I had a neighbor that he was a skateboarder. I tried it out. I kind of wanted to fit in with them, but I was never good at skateboarding or doing ollies and shit like that. But I love the video game Skate or Die, man. Doing like 360s on the half pipe. But that was the shit, man. You're doing fuck, I don't even know all the moves, but when you do what like not a hang 10, but what do you call that where they're like holding up their board at the top of the at the top of the half pipe. But I don't know. Have you guys heard of Skate or Die?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, man, I remember just playing hours and hours of just trying to do 360s, 720s on that game, and there was, other than the half pipe, there was like obstacle courses, like rail. You would have to grind the rails, but definitely that's a lot of my. I want to say I was in like 5th grade, 6th grade at the time.
Was that for what system was that for?
It was for NES.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, regular Nintendo. It had some competing things, but not just. This was like I think the first game dedicated to skateboarding, but I think they had like California games or something like that where it had some skateboarding aspects. But this was the game if you had a lot of people that were into skateboarding and shit, they would buy that. And then that was a time where the fucking fingerboards too. Did you guys ever get into fingerboards?
Yeah.
Where they would just make it out of cardboard and put like fucking grip tape on it. Shit. Yeah, we were all into that shit. What up, Mr. Nichols?
They came out with those little
Mr. Nichols.
those little tech deck boards later on, though.
Yeah, later on they came out with the tech decks.
Those are bigger.
All right, we're on number 5. Let's round out our top 5, guys.
All right, number 5 for me, Mortal Kombat 2.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Probably my favorite. The original 3 is my favorite of the 3.
Yes.
I remember I used to know all the fucking finishing moves, like all the fatalities, all that shit. Like I knew it off the top of my head. I could just do it. Like you knock Scorpion and knock the body into the pit, and the acid would eat them and all that shit. And then one guy would get hit up into the spikes, and that was just always fun. One of the first probably really like bloody games that came out.
Yeah, I like 2 more just because they introduced a couple new characters.
Yeah.
Like I think like Baraka, not Baraka. What was the? Oh yeah, it was Baraka.
Yeah, Baraka's.
Jax was my dude. Jax, his finishing move, he would rip off the arms and shit.
Yep.
That was dope. That was my dude.
I used to play the fuck out of that too, man. Love that. All right, coming in at number 5 for me is, I already mentioned part 3 to this, but I guess I'm gonna say Super Mario Brothers. The first one came out in '85. I had for NES around '87. I actually got my NES around 1987. My grandmother bought it for me for Christmas, and I think she had been putting away money for a while. And then I finally got it, and I was just like, I was so souped when I got that thing. And mine actually, this isn't my original Super Mario Brothers, because this is my wife. My wife also had NES back in the day, so this is the Super Mario Brothers with the Duck Hunt. But my NES only came with just Super Mario Brothers alone, and it came with this thing right here, which I still have, called the Official Nintendo Player's Guide.
Nice.
And this right here has like basically how to go and how to play Super Mario Brothers. Also, this is the only way, if you guys have ever heard of the game called Ghoulies 2.
Yeah.
This is the only way to beat Ghoulies 2, because they give you step-by-step instructions of how to get through each level. So this is, needless to say, that's what I used to get through the game Ghoulies 2. But coming in at number 5 for me, I think the game pretty much has started it all with the side-scrolling and everything. For me, with Super Mario Brothers for NES. So that's my number 5.
Iconic, man. That was. I mean, it came with the system, right? That and Duck Hunt.
Well, like I said, mine came with just Mario Brothers and that book. But most systems, most systems, depending on which version of the system you bought, some would come with the Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, and some others would come with the pad that you ran on and shit to play the games, or the Gyromite, the robot, that robot thing. So they had different versions of the NES system. So, yep.
No.
No. Yeah, I mean, you know when you hear like the coins being collected, or you hear that you know what it is. Everybody knows that shit. So.
Yep. All right.
Yep.
My number 5, think Genesis. I first played it in Genesis, mid-90s. Just loved it, man. I was into playing basketball at the time, but this was just fun, man. He's on fire, and then boom shakalaka, NBA Jam, dude.
NBA Jam.
That was the shit, man. When you would actually fucking do alley oops, but even more, it's like take off from 3-point line to dunk it, and
you could dunk from full court.
Yeah, he's on fire.
Pretty much.
When you're on fire, you're just fucking raining threes and pretty much goes in all the time.
You could be like any character in that game too. They had like Bill Clinton. They had like Bill Clinton in here.
Yeah, there was codes that you could have different characters. There was codes you could make them big-headed.
Yep. Mascots.
Yeah, but I would always play. You know, I was true to my Seattle Sonics. You know, Sean Kemp and Gary Payton. But yeah, just the whole boom shakalaka, and you know, the announcers made it fun. But you know, it's one of those games where you can't really suck at, because you know,
no,
it's just fucking dunking on people and shit. But
yep.
And you know, there's some other games like that where you could, you know, punch and no fouls and shit and steal the ball anytime you want. But that's what I would do, man. It was always the computer never beat me, because I would always, you know, steal the ball, score, steal the ball. So it'd always be blowouts. But yeah, NBA Jam number 5.
Nice.
Right, Brian.
All right. Number 6 for me is a game kind of like Skate or Die, but it's on roller skates, and this one's on Genesis, and it's called Skitchin'. I don't know if you ever heard of this, but you're on like roller skates or roller blades, but you go onto the back of people's cars, and you hold onto the back of their cars, and it would be called Skitchin', and that's how you would get ahead of the other players. And then you'd let off if the car was going slow and go into another car. It was really fun. But if you like went off too far on the ledge, if the car was swerving, you'd fall and just trip your ass off. It was really fun. But yeah, if you like those kind of like skateboarding games and stuff like that, or other game, what's a couple of those like motorcycle games? You know, like I'm trying to think, but there's a lot of motorcycle type games that are similar to this. But
Road Rash.
Yeah, Road Rash. That's the game I was looking for. But yeah, it's like that. But you're on skates.
I remember fucking Excite Bike. I remember playing that at the arcade.
Oh, spoiled. You spoiled.
Ah, my bad, dude. Sorry.
Yeah.
So what are we on number? We're on number 6, right?
Yeah, 6.
Yeah.
All right. So Brian already said part 2 to this, but I had on my list I have part 1, and that's I don't have it with me because I don't have the system. Well, I kind of do have the system, but it's not the actual system. And that's Mortal Kombat from 1992. I played on the Sega Genesis around 94 because that's around the same time I had both the Sega Genesis and the Super NES. I had both of them because obviously I had my own money, so I was able to buy these fucking things. But yeah, Mortal Kombat. I always played with Liu Kang because Liu Kang was my shit. Like to me, he was the best character in the first one, and that flying bicycle kick, like fucking, people would get heated as fuck when I would do that, and then they would just quit the game, and I'd be like, I would be beating that ass with Liu Kang, man. So Mortal Kombat from '92. I had it for Sega Genesis around '94. So that's my number 6.
My go-to were either Sub-Zero, but I would play Raiden a lot, man. I'd be like,
Yeah. I like Raiden too.
Yeah, Raiden's badass. Number 6 was, it seemed cheesy at first, but the thought of zombies, it's just a fun game. I love where it's just kind of a shoot 'em up. You get different weapons, but it was fucking fun. And I remember I never beat it, but I got to like level 60 something, and then it just got a little too hard. And that is Zombies Ate My Neighbors. You guys ever heard of that or played that?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so
I didn't play it though.
There would be like a neighborhood, and there's just like aliens that are bad guys, zombies. There's this episode where there's a big ass giant baby, but you would just go around and rescue human beings. You'd have to find them through the maze and just rescue them. But you could have I remember there was soda cans, like there was werewolves and stuff that would come attack you, but specifically there were certain weapons that worked better on other people. Like there were popsicles you would throw, there were I think milk, squirt guns, but yeah, it was just a fun game. I enjoy it. Yeah,
Right.
yo.
All right. Yeah.
Number
7.
Was 7?
Yep.
Another arcade style fighting game was on Super Nintendo. For number 7 for me is Final Fight.
Oh, good one.
There's a couple sequels to that one too, but I just thought it was cool. You could pick up like bigger weapons in this one, like pipes and shit, and just fuck people up. But yeah. Yeah, I remember the one main dude that I always played was like this huge dude, and he would like he had no shirt on, and he was just like a buff fucking dude, like carrying a pipe and shit, knocking people out. I thought it was cool as hell when I was like 6 years old playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the
I'm
dude
trying
with
to
the
remember his name,
mustache.
dude.
Yeah, the dude with the
Yeah,
mustache. That's right.
Yeah.
they used him for the game too. If I remember right, like later on. He was used in. No, I want to say they used him in one of the Street Fighters. I might be wrong,
I think they
but
used him in like one of the
I
Marvel
don't
or
know.
Capcom games.
Yeah, you're right. Exact. Yep, that's what it was. That's what it
Fatal
was.
Fury?
Fatal Fury.
I don't know. I just remember. Yeah, I remember that guy, but I remember, the enemies. I, have you guys seen Jean-Claude Van Damme, Cyborg, the dude with the glasses? Those glasses
Yeah.
remind me of those dudes with the braids, the big dudes with the blonde hair
Was
braids.
was his name Hagar?
Yeah,
Hagar?
it was Hagar.
Something
Yeah,
like Hagar.
Yeah, that was a good guy, but the bad guys that were giants with those sunglasses and the slick,
Yeah.
the blonde braided hair. Yeah.
Yeah. Looking like the guy from fucking Cyborg and with
Yeah,
JC.
exactly. And then
Yeah.
the wrestling ring part was
Yeah.
awesome. That
yeah.
they just kept coming and coming. You were like, fuck.
Yeah. That was a cool fucking game, man.
Yeah,
Right.
it was a cool game.
All right, my number seven. Hoarder took my number seven, and it was NBA Jam from '93. First time I ever played that was at the arcades. But I did have it for the SNES, Super NES, around '95. I'm gonna substitute that with another Super NES game, and that is Captain America and the Avengers. How
Whoa.
appropriate is this game right now? You know what I mean? With basically what we got going on at the movies and stuff. So Captain America and the Avengers for Super NES. This is my number seven. This came out in like, let's see, I got it written down around '91. I played it on the SNES around '92. By this time, like I think somebody else had this game, and it was just this is one that I bought like probably a few years back. But I remember playing it with a friend of mine who had it on his Super NES, and it was just a real fun game. Like, the Avengers, and it had the Red Skull in it and everything. So, real fun game. That's my number seven, Captain America and the Avengers.
So, is that like a side scroller where multiple?
Yeah, pretty much like like a beat 'em up, side scrolling type of game and stuff. So one of those, like a much later kind of like Double Dragon, Ninja Turtles, side scrolling type of game and stuff like
Okay,
that. Real fun, man.
cool.
I don't know if this is rare or anything, but I don't really see this too much out when I'm like shopping at flea markets and shit like that. So, I don't know. But I got it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
My number seven comes from the PS1. Um, Probably it holds up as one of the scariest games that I've played. Um, Not the first scariest, but it just the whole scenery is eerie. The music eerie, and that is the original Silent Hill for the
Ooh.
PS1. Man, when there's that mist, um, the crackling of the when sounds like a walkie-talkie type deal. Um, when like something bad's gonna happen or there's like monsters, but just the puzzles, the enemies, um, the nurses. Like if you see in the movies, like they're walking and all crazy and shit, and then the main enemies with the big pyramid heads and shit. Oh man, and their big ass sledgehammer type swords and stuff.
Mhm.
Yep. Yep.
Um, but yeah, I just love that game to death. I love the sequels. The movies, they are alright, but definitely that game is something that I would have to play with other people watching. It's pretty freaky.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right. Was it number 8?
Yeah.
Yep, number 8.
Number 8 for me is Gunstar Heroes on Genesis. Pretty cool. Like,
Wow.
it's kind of just like everything's getting blown up with blasters and shit. Like, side-scrolling type of game, but it's just a lot of fun, man. This is like one of the first games I got for Genesis that I played like constantly. Everybody else is playing like Mortal Kombat and shit, and I was playing this one, man. This is my jam.
I totally forgot about that game, man. That was a good
It
one.
had a good soundtrack too. It could have made like a good score for a movie, probably.
Oh yeah, man. That was a good fucking game, man. That's what. Hey, That's one I don't see a lot when I'm out like at flea markets either. A lot of times you go out and you're looking for something, you see a lot of the same type of stuff.
Yep.
You know. Yeah, but you can find that. You know, there's some games that, you know, if there's games that we mention, guys, that this is for the people in the chat. We mention games that you guys know, like, oh, that's a rare one you got, or, you know, you guys are a little bit more in tune with this type of stuff than us, then let us know. Because me and Hoarder always love hearing about out of print and rare and all this shit like that. So, you know, that's our shit right there.
Yeah, man.
But,
We like the
definitely.
dream of being rich.
I'm sure most of these games are out of print.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
true.
definitely out of print. But
Rare.
if you like some of the big collectors on here, like shout outs to like Fluffy Gamer, who's always going out and looking for stuff. He finds some good stuff, man. He really does.
Yeah.
He's got some hookups, but he finds some good shit out there.
The thing is,
Right.
to get top dollar, man, you needed all mint in case. You need
Yes.
the box. You need
Yeah.
everything.
You'd be surprised though. Some loose games that are more rare than something that isn't as rare, like that you find in a case complete with the booklet and everything. There's some loose games that if you find, it's kind of like gold, you know.
Yeah.
Offhand, for me, I think I can name, for NES, I can name a game called The Snow Brothers. There's a few other ones too, but that one I know.
Super NES, Chrono Trigger. That's a big one.
Yeah, even out of box probably. So.
Yeah, out of box too.
All right, number 8 for me. This might piss you and Brian off because I feel like at least one of you have this on your list. And it's another game for the Super NES. This came out in '94, but I remember playing it a lot in '96 because I had it in '96, and I don't have it with me anymore. But that is Donkey Kong Country.
Oh shit.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. Just love that fucking. I just love the Donkey Kong Country and the sequels that came out. Was it Diddy Kong Quest? I think that was one. There was like there was a few sequels.
Yeah.
But yep. What started all off for me was Donkey Kong Country. And actually I was in the military when that came out in Hawaii, Hoarder. And on my lunch break, me and my boys, because we had an hour lunch break, we'd go to my crib and we'd eat lunch, and then we'd play that game. We'd either play Donkey Kong Country or we'd play NBA Jam. And shit, we just sit there and, yeah, it was fun as hell, man, back in the day. So Donkey Kong Country is number 8 for me, guys. So there it is.
Okay.
Yay.
This was my first RPG that I bought for my own. Not the first one I played. I think the first one I played was either Shining Force or Shining Through the Darkness, and that was on the Genesis. But PS1, the graphics just fucking blew me away, and that is Final Fantasy VII. So
Wow.
I know they're rebooting it, but this was a game that I easily had 50, 60, 70 hours, to beat. Some of the bosses, I mean, you could beat the storyline, but there's these 2 bonus bosses that I think one's underwater, one's in the desert, that holy shit, your level, your character's level has to be at a certain point to even attempt to beat it. But it's one of those games that you're either into it. If you're not into RPGs, you probably don't like it. Is because the fighting style was more of you're not actually controlling it. You just kind of select like magic or attack, and then it kind of does it for you. So another distracting thing with these type of RPGs is that just randomly, you're trying to get somewhere, and then randomly, like all of a sudden, you're sucked into a battle, and it would always happen like every 30 seconds, and it becomes frustrating and monotonous. But in a way, you have to do that in order to power up your characters. But I love the fact that it was a great story, but you like recruit people into your party, so it's not just like a couple characters. You can have up to, I think there was like 10, 12 characters that you could select from, but you only could like use 4 at a time, 4 or 5 in your group. But every character had a backstory, and you would go on their missions and help them out. But there was like, just the thought of going through everything in detail. That's what I liked about RPGs, is that you would go through and not, skip anything. You would always go search things, and that's why you got a lot of gameplay. So money-wise, you got a lot out of your money. But I think I stopped playing Final Fantasy at Final Fantasy 13 is when I stopped. But yeah, just a big fan of the whole franchise, the series. You guys played it?
Which one was that one? The first one you were talking about?
Final Fantasy 7.
7? Yeah, that's my favorite one.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
You like Final Fantasy?
Yeah. Well, I'm not huge into Final Fantasy, but that's probably the one where I stopped at. But
okay.
But yeah, I know they've gotten better past then, but like that was the top one back then.
Yep.
The 3-disc PlayStation version.
Yeah, and that one goes for money. The non-greatest hits one, the Black.
Yeah, I used to have that shit too.
I still got it with the strategy guide. That
nice.
Of course you do, horror. You know you love
that's
horror.
No, that's the only PS1 game I have.
Wow.
That's legit. Other ones, I had the little modded chip that you could play burnt games. So I got a lot of burnt games.
Yeah, I used to do that too. But yeah.
Were you big into RPGs, Brian? Because I really wasn't, dude. Like, not me.
I wasn't really either, but that one was actually pretty fun RPG.
Yeah. All right. Number 9 for us?
Yeah.
Brian?
Yep. Number 9, yeah. What's number 9 for me is Die Hard Trilogy for PlayStation 1.
Oh!
That
was my backup.
Shit. But yeah, it's a fun one, man. You can pick from Die Hard 1, 2, or 3. The third one wasn't really that fun.
No, that one was the car one.
Yeah, the car one where you're looking for the bombs. But the first one was like my jam. You go level to level, like just blasting people. There's so much blood and gore in that game too.
Yeah, dude. Throwing grenades and shit. That was my shit.
Then the second one's more of like a action game that you'd play in like a arcade. But where you had the shooting range, whatever.
Yeah,
what do you call it?
Would just shoot up like the airport, or
Yeah, shoot them up wherever. It would just it would just follow wherever you went after you shot the next guy. But
yeah, but the first one was cool. I like the level that it was like the office setting. You would take the elevator and just shoot up fucking the people in the cubicles, and they're just people like fucking keep on running in, and then you have to you know, just fucking kill them all. I loved it, man. I never get tired of just fucking killing it. And I prefer that style over first person by far.
Me too.
Yeah, and just the way that people sounded when they got shot and shit was always hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's more like the old school GTA look overhead like that.
Yep.
Yep.
Wow.
Spoiler, sorry.
And you would have to free people, right? They would be like all hostages, and you would free them.
Yeah. Yeah, the rope. Yep.
Ooh. I never got to play any of those, man.
Oh, it's dope, man.
They're
Sounds
fun.
like fun.
You have a PlayStation 1?
I never had the PlayStation 1. I used to have my homeboy, when I was in Hawaii again, when the PlayStation 1 first came out, he went to the Navy Exchange store, and he's like, let's go to the Navy Exchange. I'm like, for what? Why can't we just go to the one, on the Army base? He's like, oh, they got this new video game system. It's called the PlayStation 1. It's going to be the shit. So I was like, all right, man. So we went, he put it on credit. He bought that shit, and then we just went back to the room and we started playing it, man. It was just so fucking fun. So fun. So, and which brings me basically to my next point. So good segue into like the PS1 and everything, because this is going to be my first newer gen console on my list. For the PS1, my friend had it. So this game came out in '94, but my friend had it like around '97, and that is Darkstalkers: The Night Warriors. And that's the one with like there's a vampire character, there's that cat chick in like a white costume, Felicity or whatever, and it's a fighting game. And then there's a werewolf character in it. It's just a fun game, Darkstalkers. If you guys have ever played that, I know maybe somebody in the chat has. You've heard of it, right, Brian?
Yeah.
I just love the characters in that game, man. So awesome. That's my number 9. Darkstalkers: The Night Warriors from 1994.
Yeah, that had some good graphics on that. My number 9 is another horror type genre, and this is a big franchise. A lot of movies, a lot of video games, but the original Resident Evil on PlayStation 1. So, I mean, shoot, it had me that first zombie scene where it's fucking munching on somebody and it turns around in all slow motion.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
That sold me. That was creepy. That was like, and I wanted to show that to everybody. It's like, holy fuck, it's like a movie. But just the puzzles. This was the first time that it seemed like the walking where you would control them was a little bit backwards. It was a little bit awkward for me to control it, but you got used to it over time. But just the in-depthness of the game, of the world, the mansion, the graphics were great. But just the incorporation of a lot of the puzzles and the different enemies. They had those fucking, I forget what they're called, but they were, those little things with claws that fucking climbed. The fucking on top of the wall. The lickers, yeah. Those were fucking crazy. And then the main dude, he was sinister. But I remember the level that fucking had sharks and shit. Like, you were like in the water, and then like the shark tanks broke, and then the whole laboratory was full of sharks, and it was just like a movie to me. And then you had like rocket launchers at the end, but the whole thought of mixing herbs and stuff for your health was a little bit, added something to it.
I always thought it was crazy when like Forrest got his eyes pecked out by the crows. I was like, fuck.
Yeah. and I like the fact that it wasn't so straightforward as that you had a limit to what you could carry. So you had to store stuff and a chest. You have to be strategic of what to carry. what to combine, what to drop, because you had to, a certain point where guns you could upgrade or find better weapons that you would just didn't have enough room to, no longer have, a Colt 45, a revolver, so you went with the shotgun. But it was fun. I mean, that's one of the games that I played 2, beat it, played 3, beat it, played 4. 4 is probably my favorite. 5, 6 I own, but never really played it, and then that's where I kind of stopped. My interest in video games, so to speak. But just the franchise overall, I'm not like thinking the movies are all that great, but I'm a fan of them. I watch them. I own them all. They're coming out with another one.
What's the one where they go to Africa?
That's number 5, man. That one's dope.
Yeah, that's the only one I ever played, man, and I enjoyed it so much, man. Like I had that for what did I have it for? I think I had it for Xbox 360, and
okay.
I played that quite a bit, man. That was a fun one. So.
Yeah, that one was fucking crazy, man. That, like, you're in a different type of setting, but man, for some reason, like, it seemed like they were all faster. Like, there were so many of the fucking zombies or whatever coming at you.
Yeah.
The shit boat used to fuck me up when you had to ride the boat and like you had to like blow up the other boat and shit like that, and I was just like so hard for me and shit.
Yep.
It was fun though. Definitely.
Sweet.
What are we on, number 10?
Yeah, number 10. My number 10 is a PlayStation 1 title from like 1997. It's Nightmare Creatures.
Oh my god.
This game was fun as fuck, man.
Oh.
Like, you would see the craziest fucking creatures I ever seen in a game, like in this one. Like, and you would just chop off their limbs would fall off, and like, I don't know. It was just really fun.
Dude, I got a story about that game. That game is one of the ones that my friend he bought, and we never beat it because we could not beat that last fucking boss, man, on the roof and everything. It was like to try and figure out it was for some reason we couldn't beat that last boss, and he got so frustrated he broke the fucking game because he was like, not the PlayStation, but he broke the disc, and he's just like, fuck this fucking game. He rage quit, like, and because we were playing it for like literally hours and hours and hours, and could not beat that final boss. Couldn't figure out how to beat the final boss. It was just like, what the fuck, man? It was stupid, but that Nightmare Creatures, man. That's like to me, like it was a hard final boss on that one, man, for some reason. But,
yeah, man, it's just fun, man.
But Nightmare Creatures. Shit, that, like I said, it's different, man. It was brutal. It was like so many characters, but fucking like slicing them in half, and the weapons that you had. It was one of those games, like it was cutting edge. There's a game called Bloodborne on the PS4 that's reminds me so much of Nightmare Creatures. And that's a very popular one with the dark setting and the gruesomeness and the way the enemies are made, so hideous. But yeah, that's a classic, man. Nightmare Creatures.
Definitely. All right, my number 10 is a classic. This game came out in 1981. I've played it at the arcade. I had it for ColecoVision, the home console ColecoVision, and I had it for the arcade tabletop game back in around '84. So I remember ColecoVision was our first system we got. I think my mom had rented it through some kind of like rental company like Color Time or something like that back in the day, and it was basically on credit. So I'm playing games for ColecoVision that should be meant for a color TV on a little shitty ass black and white TV that we had back then. I'm just saying, try and play some of these games on a fucking black and white TV that's supposed to be in color. It's not the easiest thing. You gotta be skillful even with that. But anyway, Donkey Kong from 1981. Like I said, had for ColecoVision and Coleco Tabletop around 84. Introduced us to Mario, aka Jumpman, and he had I think it was Pauline was the chick that he had to save from Donkey Kong, and Mario's a player, man. He's had a bunch of chicks throughout his lifetime, man. You know, Pauline, and then on and on, like Princess Peach and all that. So, but yeah, Donkey Kong 81. It's always gonna be a classic for me. Probably one of the first games I remember playing outside of another one that I'll mention later. But yeah, that's my number 10.
Right on.
All right.
Supreme, what's up? This mug's been like away from YouTube for a long time, but of course it'd be a video game that gets his attention. Yeah, boy. He said he got back from the gym. After the stream, I'm about to head over to the gym. Cool. My number 10 is another basketball game. This was on the NES, and this was just crazy because we never seen this type of I guess graphics or gameplay of a game on any console. No, you're thinking of something different. But it was Jordan versus Bird. Shit.
Oh.
Yeah. So, fucking the dunk contest where I just remember, Kiss the Rim, Statue of Liberty, Rock the Cradle, the windmill, but it was like, it got pretty repetitive, but it was just, dude, you can actually dunk. Unlike, the other game was Double Dribble, where it just showed that animated thing. When you went to dunk, it just showed that it showed the animated dude the same position go up and dunk, which was gay. But it was a fun game. But the fact that you actually saw Michael Jordan, do some crazy shit and dunk it was fun. I mean, the 3 points was 3-pointers, but it was all about the dunk contest in Jordan versus Bird.
I've never seen that one.
Oh, never? Wow.
Yeah, man, that's a good one.
Nah.
Sweet.
What, are we number 10 or 11 now? 10? 11.
Yep, number 11.
All right. 11 for me is one right on the edge of the 1999. Came out in October 1999. It's Ready to Rumble Boxing.
Oh, shit.
It was on PlayStation, but it's also on Dreamcast. But yeah, it was one of the Dreamcast launch games. But yeah, Dreamcast came out around like October to December of '99, like right before year 2000. So, but that was a fun ass game. I remember fighting with the one guy had the big afro. I forget his name, but
yep.
I mean, I like my Tyson's Punch Out a lot too, but that was one of the most fun boxing games to me was Ready to Rumble.
Yeah, I remember that.
Is that the one where you give them an uppercut and they fucking go up out of the ring and shit?
Yeah.
They fly up in the air and shit?
Yep, they fly in the air.
That was Ready to Rumble, right?
Yeah. And
damn.
Smash
I remember playing that.
Their teeth.
There was a sequel, I think, too. But
yeah.
2 or.
Oh. Yeah, too late. Didn't make the cut, that one.
Yeah.
All right, for me, number 11. I don't know if Frosty Knives is still in the chat, but if he is, shout outs to him because this is the game I played with him that like Hoarder was talking about playing games with somebody till like fucking 4 in the morning.
Oh fuck! You're gonna say it.
Frosty Knives and I actually recorded ourselves on cassette tape This is before internet days, people. This is before people, we didn't have any capabilities, but we were doing a play-by-play, blow-for-blow about what was going on. And we actually, like, I don't think it had a save feature, so it's like with the old school Nintendo, the NES, you had to like just keep it on pause, the game, and then hopefully it wouldn't freeze and you could go back and play the motherfucker like after getting some sleep, because your parents or your friends' parents would be like, "Oh, what the fuck? You guys stayed up all night?" Blah blah blah. Like, so this game anyway is from 1990 for the NES, and it's one of my it coincides with one of my all-time favorite movies too, and that is A Nightmare on Elm Street. The game.
Shit!
Nice.
You guys can see I put duct tape on it and shit because it had separated when I bought this from a yard sale, but even with the duct tape on it and I brought it back together, it still plays. So this was probably one of the few games for the NES early on that had the 4-player multi capability. You had to have that 4-player setup, and you could play with 4 people at the same time. Yeah, so it was awesome. You had the different characters, like in the dream state, they could use their powers. Like one was a gymnast, one was like a wizard. There was another one. I'm trying to remember. Like, there was a ninja. So it was those. I think there was one other type of character too. But like I said, a gymnast, a ninja, a fucking wizard, and there was something else. So it kind of like coincided with Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors, but just like not the greatest game, but just real fun, man. So that's it. Nightmare on Elm Street.
Actually, you know who Cinestalker is on YouTube?
Yeah.
But he had a video a couple videos back where he actually like bought that game and Friday the 13th. And he tested both of them out. And what was funny about Friday the Nightmare on Elm Street one was that like when the opening screen comes on and you see Freddy, he has the fingers like in the second one where the knives come out of his fingers instead of the glove.
Yeah. Yep.
So that was kind of funny.
Yep. That's true, man. He had him in his fingers instead of the glove and shit. But they put a NECA action figure out of him based off that game.
Yeah.
And
yes.
I know there's a few people in our community that have that NECA action figure. I think doesn't Griswolds have it? I think he might have that.
Yeah, probably. Blu-ray Outlaw.
Yep, Blu-ray Outlaw.
And Friday the 14th.
Yep. So you guys will be proud of me when you watch this because I actually still have the game put out by LJN. So one of the companies infamous for putting out shit games, but
Yeah. Are you sub to Cinemassacre?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, they do gameplay of that too.
I loved it though. Me and Frosty loved the fuck out of that game, and I still have the cassette tape to this day with us playing that game.
His face looked like fucking spaghetti. Like when I was a kid, I always thought it was like a can of like SpaghettiOs or some shit.
So you played it, right, Brian?
Yeah, I rented it back in the day. I didn't ever own it, but from Blockbuster Video back in the day, I used to rent that.
It was cool. It had one boss you had to fight was actually the glove flying around, and then it was him as the worm, and then it was like him on a chain, like he was on a chain or something.
Yeah.
With just his head. Yeah, it was just fun, man.
Yeah, those games were expensive back then. You couldn't own them all. They were pricey back then.
Yeah. Well, that's one that I rented, like you, and we played as a rental. But then I later on bought it and stuff. So I own. I don't. That's not the one that I originally owned. I had to buy that again when I saw it out in the wild. But yeah.
I mean, is that like how much would they charge for something like that right now out in the wild?
Oh, this one, yeah, this one I bought for about between $8 and $10. I bought this one for.
Okay.
So I think it was a good price.
Yeah, I buy for that.
So.
I mean, shit. Talking about some of this makes me want to buy an NES.
Yep.
Damn. All right, so we talked about let's see, my number 11.
Yeah.
My number 11 was Double Dragon. I'm switching that up.
Ooh.
For up, left, right,
Ah,
BA start. That is Contra. That was fucking
yeah, boy.
fun. Yeah, Contra. I mean, that code is just, it's fucking, I remember that from anything. But yes, I loved that game because, you know, there was that, you had two people, uh, it was co-op. It was a
Yeah.
relatively easy game. But you would always chase down the boxes, right? That had the spread. I love the spread one of the
Mhm.
bullets, and then you had that other one that went in like a circle type deal. But um, it was just the thought of playing it with another person and kind of like arguing with them, like, you know, because certain, if they got too far ahead, it would get you trapped and you would get killed. Like when you're trying to jump on a ledge or something, you'd always have to kind of stay together, or you would coordinate, like, hey, you get the top, you get the bottom, type deal.
Mhm.
But that's just something that, you know, doing that cheat. I don't know anyone that can beat it without the cheat, but once you had that cheat, man, it was just like you didn't need to rehearse it. It was just up down, left right, BA start. But
Yep.
yeah, man, that's what I'm substituting
Yep.
my number 11, Contra.
Awesome game, man.
Number
I
11
still got it.
for me. What, number 12? For me,
12. Yep.
Adventure Island of NES.
Oh, that's on my list.
It's like a 80,
Man.
1988 game. I
Hell
remember
yeah.
Yep.
I never owned it either, but I remember renting that game because I couldn't find it in stores to buy. I wanted it real bad, but back then you didn't have the internet to buy shit. You know, you had to find it in stores. So, and then
There was a lot of Easter eggs in that,
yeah,
like
there was. Yep.
hidden things. It was put out by
It was
Squaresoft or
Hudson Soft.
Hudson Soft, and then that little bee
Hudson
thing.
Soft.
It would be like,
Yep.
there would
Yep.
be like little bees or something hidden, and then it would be, I don't know if it was extra guys or what, but there was a lot of those hidden things that I'm like, oh my god, I found it.
Yeah,
It was fun
that game
game.
was so much fun, man. I was playing that till 2 a.m. and shit. Like,
Yeah, it's a hard game, but it was fun.
yeah,
Fun. I don't know if I ever beat it
Yeah,
or not.
Hudson Soft put out some good stuff, man.
Yeah, love it, love it.
All right. Number 12 for me is another PS1 game. Like I said, I never owned a PS1, but I had a friend who had it. And this is a game that came out in 97. I actually played it at the arcade first, but he had it for his PS1 in 98. And that is Tekken 3, baby.
Oh, fuck.
Tekken 3. Not
nice.
1 or 2, 3 specifically. It was something about 3, and for the PS1 that, like, you know, sold me. And it was just, played it a lot with him. So Tekken 3, man, came out in 97. He had it for PS1 in 98. Yep, that's it.
Yoshimitsu.
Yoshimitsu. Yeah, that game had a lot.
Yeah.
Nice.
I like Tayashi, I think. The dude, you know, that had like kind of
Heihachi? Heihachi?
Yeah,
The old man.
man. He fucking just power bombed the shit out of you.
Oh, he had some fun. When he did that, like when he powered up, he had that one like that. He fucking had that thing where it like threw you across the screen and shit.
Yeah.
That was pretty badass. That punch. Yep.
What number are we on?
Yeah. 12.
12. So my number 12 was an RPG that, dude, I love. This is a rare one, so if you see it in the wild, PS1, pick it up. Suikoden. So you had to be
Oh,
a RPG player to. I have parts. I think this is part 5. So this is like PS2. I don't have a PS2 anymore, but I have all these games. But if you see part 1, uh, in the PlayStation CD disc set, any of these, part 1, part 2, part 3 are all rare. I think they're going for like couple $100. But
yeah.
you know, there's nothing special about the difference between this Final Fantasy, Fantasy Star, some of those games, except you recruit. There's so many characters. There's over 100 characters that you recruit, and a lot of them are hidden. Like you would have to like look in crevices and corners to spot them, to really find them. So I would always buy like the strategy guide and then play through it first without using it, and then when I only could find like half of them, I would go back, replay it, and then try to get everybody and recruit them on your team. But you would get your own castle eventually, and then build like the more characters you have, the bigger your castle was, and then you could just build it up, and everyone had their own rooms and shit. It was a fun game, but I got hooked. But yeah, anyone in the chat heard of Suikoden? That's my number 12. You're like, huh? Love you.
All right, number 13 for me is not. It's part of the Street Fighter games, but it's not one of the normal ones. It's actually on Sega Saturn, and it's Street Fighter the movie.
Whoa.
Sega Saturn with Jean-Claude Van Damme up in there. But yeah, this is whenever they had like more of like the facial express, like the whole layout of the characters from the movie were actually in the game because they had the effects back then to do that.
Yeah.
The effects were getting better, you know, where they can actually do that kind of shit. But yeah, it was fun. Remember liking this one a lot. Sega Saturn.
Wow. Yeah, it's one of those. That's one of those systems that like it was either hit or miss with the games. But yeah.
Yeah,
I never
didn't
had
have that many good games.
Yeah, there's only like 80 or 90. You could probably go, and if there's one set you want to go complete, that's something you could probably hunt down.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a friend that like got rid of his and all his games. He sold it all to me for like $20 for like 20 games in the system itself.
Oh shit!
So I was like, hell no, why not?
Nice.
But then I started playing that game and I really liked it a lot. Street Fighter the movie. But there's a few others that I liked a lot too, but I'll get into those later.
Right, John.
Wow. All right. So number 13, coming at number 13 is surprisingly another PS1 game. I never owned a PS1, but like I said, played a lot with it with my friends. This is one that came out in '97, and my friend had it in '99, and my mind was fucking blown away because it featured basically two of my favorite franchises, which is my number one, Street Fighter, but then it had Marvel superheroes too. So it was Marvel superheroes versus Street Fighter, and my mind was just fucking blown because I'm like, you get to play like as fucking, you know, whatever, Wolverine, like Berserker Barrage, you know, that move that he had and shit where he spins across the screen and does that. Fucking who else did have it? The Hulk, I think, was in that one. Spider-Man. It was just so much fun. Marvel superheroes versus Street Fighter on the PS1. Played that in around '99. So that's my number 13, people. There it is.
All right.
All right, Hoarder.
My number 13. I would play this at the arcade. I was blown away by the graphics, but I don't know. Just at the time, that's what I listened to. MTV at the time, you know, the videos, the music videos, and that is Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. That shit was the fucking shit. Like, I would put in a quarter and he would just be, Annie, are you okay? And shit, Smooth Criminal. But it was just a fucking fun, like, I don't know, just the graphics were like kind of real life characters and I don't know, just the moves, man. Like the dance moves he would do. He would throw his hat and shit. And but did they? I don't even know if they made it on a console. Did they make it? I know they made a movie.
I think they did, man. I think they had it for the console too. I think there was a console that had that. I can't remember which one it was,
but yeah, I just remember.
I think it was for the console.
Going to the bowling alley and fucking playing the shit out of that game, putting in a lot of quarters, trying to beat it, but never did. But I just like the fact that, you know, it actually had like Michael Jackson singing and shit.
Yeah.
Bam!
Damn. So first arcade game that you mentioned, basically strictly arcade right there. So that's pretty cool. Yeah,
they're coming up now. Like, there's a lot of ones that I just fucking played at the arcade.
Yeah.
All right.
Number 14, Brian.
14, another 80s NES game, Rampage.
Oh yeah.
The two monsters on the walls, beating up the buildings until they were destructed. That game was always fun, man. Eating the people out the windows and shit.
Yep.
Fun
game.
Yeah,
that came out in '86.
Yeah.
They made more than one.
Yeah, they made more than one, and they made like one or two for PlayStation 1 also.
They had a similar game called King of Monsters, I think.
Yeah.
That I think you would fight, the monsters would fight each other, but like it had that same feel to Rampage, is that you were these big monsters, but it was kind of like there's buildings in the background. You could smash each other through buildings and shit. But
I never played King of Monsters, but I always remember King of Monsters being on the game show Nick Arcade. It was always on there.
I think it was a Neo Geo game. Not sure.
Yeah, Rampage was fun, man. That's one that I played at the arcade. I don't think I ever played it on a console, but I played it at the arcade. Had the werewolf. It had the monkey, the ape, like monster.
Lizard,
I remember those
Lizzie.
three. Those were the Lizzie, yeah, the lizard, the gorilla, and the werewolf. We got a fucking giant werewolf. I've never seen that before. Before. And you know they took the lizard and the fucking monkey off Godzilla and King Kong, but like where the fuck did they come up with like a werewolf? That was kind of just like thrown in there type of thing.
Yeah.
That's funny.
There was a creature from Black Lagoon too, I think. I think you could play up to 4 people.
No? 4 characters?
A creature from the Black Lagoon type person, wasn't there?
I don't remember. I always remember it being 3.
Okay.
Maybe in the sequels.
Yeah.
I have to look that up. That sounds pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
Number 14. Brian might remember this because he said he's pretty much a big Sega guy. But you know, like I said, not the best game in the world. I just had fun playing this because I owned it, and you know, and it's from 1990. It was for Sega Genesis, and it's Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse.
Oh,
I don't know. I just had a lot of fun playing that.
I thought that was the only one.
Yep, I played that too.
No,
it's fun.
Dude, Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse. I had that game. I liked playing it. It was one of those, you know, fun, kiddie, side-scrolling type of things, but a lot of fun, man.
It was the graphics were awesome.
Yeah.
The graphics for that game was awesome. You were like collecting apples and shit.
Yep.
In the forest, and It had it was a side scroller, but it kind of had like a 3D feel to it.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
graphics were awesome. You know, it was a little hard, but I think that was like the beginning of the Disney type games, and then they got into the game. What was it? PlayStation 2 Kingdom Hearts, which reminded me a lot like that. But I owned that game and let someone borrow it and never got it back, and I'm pissed because I didn't beat it.
What, Kingdom Hearts or Castle of Illusion?
Castle of Illusion.
Oh wow.
Mickey Mouse.
Yep.
But I loved it. Yeah, that game was
That's
awesome.
my number 14.
Sweet. My number 14, you mentioned it, but I'm not going to sub it out because no one officially mentioned it, and that is Excite Bike. So Excite Bike was that it was pretty basic in the sense, but it was more cool because you got to make the fucking the track, you know.
Yeah.
And all I would do is, you know, put the big ass jumps on there, like a bunch of jumps, all around, and then it was just riding around, you know, doing wheelies and shit without falling. But Excite Bike was just one of those games. It got redundant after a time, but if you play with other people, it became fun.
Yep.
That was fun at the arcade. I remember that's why I used to play it at the arcade, man. That was fun.
Yeah, yo.
Where are we on? 15?
Yeah, 15.
Number 15?
15 for
Yep,
me.
15.
PlayStation 1. Not sure what year, but it was like mid-90s, mid to late 90s. But Twisted Metal 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I like the first one a lot,
Ooh.
but the second one is where it hit its peak. That shit was just fun, man. There was all sorts of Easter eggs too in the maps too, where you could like blow up the Paris, you know, the Eiffel Tower and shit, and that shit would go down, and then you could ride on top of it and shit, and I remember you can like the one guy had it was just a guy's body inside in the middle of two tires, and you could like shoot his arms off and shit. Like, everybody knows what's his name? Sweet Tooth was the
yeah, the clown.
big clown. He was in all the commercials and shit for it. Like,
yep.
That was a big game back then. Like,
yep.
The clown.
Yeah. But yeah, I always had fun with
that was fun, but you know, again, when you played against someone,
So,
you know, the split screen.
Like that's something that.
Go ahead. Hello?
That's what I was gonna say about the split screen.
Oh yeah.
You guys there?
Yeah. Yeah, we're here.
Yep.
Yeah, split screen kind of sucked.
All
Yeah,
right,
but
so
one person was good.
Do you have it still, Brian, or no?
No, I don't have it anymore. But
Damn. 15. A lot of these ones I'm saying are Super NES, like kind of a good mix. I had it for the Super NES around '94, and it's another Mario game, and that's Super Mario World. I don't have it. Wish I still did, and you know that was the fun one. That's the one you could ride Yoshi and everything on his back, and it introduced other mechanics to the game and everything. So Super Mario World from 1990 had it on an SNES for around '94. So that's my number 15.
Wow, never played it.
Really?
Yeah, like I said, I've never had a Nintendo, Super Nintendo, but that was when I was into Genesis.
Yeah.
Number 15 was a PlayStation 1 game. this is what started it all for like any shooter kind of game. But this was like it was third person. But I just loved the fact that fucking you did headshots, and it was kind of like Die Hard Arcade, but I think I got through part 3, the first one, second one, part 3, and that is Siphon Filter. You guys played? Any of you guys played
Yeah,
Siphon Filter?
that game was fun, man.
I've heard of it.
Yeah,
That was on my backups.
Yep. So that's one of the games that the graphics weren't all that, a little blocky, but at times, but shit, it was just there you had to really be strategic and like sniping people, because you would have to like snipe them back to back like real quick, otherwise the other guy would escape. So your skills.
It was fast paced though, even though the graphics were a little blocky.
Yeah. No, it was a great game, and before its time, but it's there was some glitches and stuff. But what I remember is there's like awesome scenery, like there's a snow scene, but just having to be stealthy and just snipe people. But it's not all about just sniping people. You could go up front and just go to town and just start fucking killing everybody you see. But I just remember that's one of the games that I wouldn't mind playing like today, and it would hold up for me.
Yep.
Siphon Filter. Yeah, yo.
15? All right.
We are 16, right?
Friday the 14th's in the chat. He says, "What's up, guys? Hope everyone's having a good evening." You too,
man.
buddy.
Thank you.
Man.
Hey, also shout out to the Blue Limit Soldiers. They invited me to be a guest on Wednesday's Wicked Wednesday. We're watching Friday, the original Friday the 13th. So
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Terry, seems pretty fun, man. Yeah, yo.
What are we on, 15 or 16?
We're on 16.
16.
Yeah, well, number 16 for me was Super Mario World. I had the cartridge. Shit. But I'll back it up with Lethal Enforcers, Sega Genesis. This was an arcade game, but it's like a shoot 'em up, like Time Crisis or one of those type of games.
Oh, okay.
But this was one of the first ones, man. I had the gun for it and everything, but yeah, it was just really fun, man.
Wow.
It's from Konami, so what year is it? 1993.
Never heard of that one.
This one, Lethal Enforcers, 1993. But yeah.
So it was like, what game did you say it was like?
It was like Time Crisis or like House of the Dead and shit like that,
Okay. So was it like first person, like more first person shooter?
First person, like you had a gun, I had the gun for it and everything, so.
Oh, okay. Wow. That sound. I don't remember that one. It sounds cool though.
Yeah, it was cool.
All right, for me, number 16. I don't have it. It's another one from Mother. I think I have so many Super NES games on my list because I actually that was one that I owned when I was in the military and when I had my own money and I could actually go out and buy these fucking games because I had a disposable income back then, which I don't have anymore. So anyway, if I do, I'm buying Blu-rays and shit. So number 16 for me is based off an original game from NES, and it's based off this game, which is Ghosts and Goblins. But for the Super NES, this came out in '91, and I had it around '94, and it's Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
Okay, heard of it.
The Super NES. A lot of games for the Super NES had the word "super" in it, like Super Street Fighter, Super Mario World, huh?
Super Contra.
Yeah. Super Contra, yeah, that's another one, dude.
They did that with a
lot of these
Super Metroid.
Yep. Everything was super because it was fucking Super NES, so But yeah, number 16 for me is Super Ghouls and Ghosts from '91. I had it around '94. It's a fun game, man. So, yep.
Tony
All right.
commented, said Lethal Enforcers came with the blue
Yeah,
Magnum.
that was the gun it came with. Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, yo. All right.
Mhm.
So basically, Super Ghouls and Ghosts was the same. It was the same thing, right? Just better graphics, kind of dude in armor.
Same type of premise, just better graphics. You could do there's a few different game mechanics for it, but yeah, pretty much the same. That's Ghosts and Goblins is a franchise that spawned a few different iterations of it. Like later, I mean, they even had a GameCube game called Maximo, which I think spawned like 2 or 3 different games. And the GameCube, what we can't really mention, but I had 2000, 2001, and I had that game Maximo, which is based off Ghosts and Goblins. So it's a lot of fun, So 17.
All right.
Oh no, 16 for you, Hoarder.
Yep, number 16. Another one that you had. Everyone knew the code for. After you died, let you restart it. Continue. ABBA. That was Akari Warriors. So, Akari Warriors. The graphics nowadays wouldn't hold up, but playing. Oh, that's part 2. Playing Akari Warriors.
That's part 2. Yep.
Does ABBA work on that too? Probably. Like to continue when you die? ABBA?
I don't remember, dude.
Should try it. ABBA.
I don't remember.
but anyways, it was.
Try it.
You could go in a tank. But it's the same concept of like, go as far as you can, shoot them up. But you could throw grenades. You could, get different kind of weapons. The 3 bullet, the spread, blowtorch, I think. But it was just a game. Again, it was so fun. It's because there wasn't too many 2-player same screen type games, and in order to make it more fun, it's always fun to play with your friend. And that was one of those games that, you had the code for, just like Contra's, that, you could beat it in one sitting, so to speak. That's it.
Yep. Cool. 17, Brian.
All right, 17. Can't get any more retro than this. Asteroids.
Damn.
The game's a little.
Oh.
Probably a little beat up, but it still works. But yeah, 1981 it says on the cover here. Shit.
Yeah, man. Old.
That's one of the first Ataris. But yeah, I always like playing that game.
Yeah, we definitely wanted to.
Yeah, I hate when you actually, try to move and then it just kept going and like, oh fuck, it's out of control. It was hard to get it back in control once you're just going fast, and then sometimes you're going so fast that it's just like,
But I got really good at that game.
Damn.
That's when I played like at the arcades a lot, back in the day. Remember that one? Never really played it for the Atari.
Yeah, boy.
That was definitely one of the classics too, man.
Yep.
All right, number 17 for me. We're continuing with the Super NES thing here. It's a game that came out in 1994. Another fighting game, beat 'em up fighting game versus fighting versus game. World Heroes 2.
That was that
just
Neo
a
Geo?
lot of fun. Had a bunch of different. I had it for the SNES too.
Okay,
the Super NES had it as well. Yeah, it might have been a Neo Geo game. But I remember playing on the Super NES.
Yep.
War Heroes Part 2. Just not much I could say about it. Just versus fighting game, quite like Street Fighter. You know, quite like those games that came out.
People from different countries and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Different. Yeah, it was a cool game though, man. I liked it. So, yep, that's my number 17.
All right. My number 17 is my second skateboarding game. This was on the PS1, the original Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Oh shit!
So that
game was awesome.
Yeah, because you had that song by Goldfinger. Here I am.
Yep, Superman.
Yeah. And so that just fucking was, you know, it just made the game funner. But dude, the graphics were great. The gameplay was awesome. You know, just the amount of tricks you could do. I just remember playing hours and hours just trying to beat your score on a lot of things. So, and then there was something cool about it. Like, couldn't you like play like the officer dude? I don't know, but there was like this officer security guy type dude that you could play. It was like a secret. But I just remember playing hours and hours and hours on end of that game, becoming really pretty good.
Yep.
But that song, Goldfinger, man. Dun, dun.
Nice.
That was a good one.
Bingo.
But number 18.
Yep.
Yeah. Number 18.
SNES game for me. I don't have it in my collection, but
Yep.
Killer Instinct.
Oh yeah.
Another cool, really cool fighting game versus another person. And I don't know what the main guy, he was wearing like almost like a medieval armor. I forget what his name was, but I remember like they had that one like wolf guy who was like Saber Wolf, I think. Might have been it. Something. There was like a werewolf, and then there's like a Riptor was the Velociraptor. And they just had a bunch of crazy characters in there. What they had, the skeleton guy was named like Spinal, I think was his name.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
There was like a guy
that had a few different games too, right? Like
yeah, they had a couple.
Like at least 3, I think maybe.
I know they had at least 2 for SNES, and I think they had more after that. I think they had one for 64.
Yeah.
But they had one guy who was like on fire. His name was like Cinder. But yeah, it was a fun game. It was like one of the more mature ones. It had some gore to it.
Yeah, the graphics were real good in that one too,
yeah.
Man. I like that. That was an awesome game. That's actually one of the ones on my backup. I had that on my backup list, so that's cool.
Cool.
But I think our lists are holding up pretty well.
Yeah.
Man.
Weird.
All of our lists are pretty. I only had to substitute one so far that Hoarder fucked me up on, but I had a feeling that was gonna happen.
I saw the one from you, John. That's it for me too.
Our lists are holding up pretty well, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yo.
All right, so my number 18 is a game from 1982. Had it for it came out on ColecoVision around 83, and I had it for ColecoVision around 84 because that's when we had the ColecoVision. It was around that time. Like I said, playing ColecoVision on a black and white TV, a small black and white TV. This game was fucking like near impossible to try and play on a black and white TV. You needed a color TV for this game because I have it for the Nintendo now, the NES, but it's motherfucking Q*bert.
Yes.
You guys
Hell
remember
yeah.
Q*bert? You had to jump around on the blocks and change the colors and shit.
That game pissed me
You
off.
had the snake that
Pissed me off.
Those fucking snakes.
Huh?
I used to get so mad at that game
What
when I was a
happened?
kid.
Those snakes, man. Hated them.
He jumps on the spinning rainbow disc and he goes back up to the top and shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was just imagine trying to play that fucking game on a black and white TV, dude. It was just like fucking so frustrating, man.
Yep.
So yeah, Hubert, man, I had fond memories of that game. So that's my number 18. So,
I had that game on Commodore 64. Played the shit out of it.
it's definitely one of the original throwbacks to the early '80s, man. That's one that probably everybody remembers. And like Brian said, it's a character that's in that movie Pixels now. So
Yep.
you know he's in that. So
Yep.
yeah, number 18. That's mine.
All right. My number 18 was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, that, got into the cartoon, got into the my cousin was a diehard fan. He had all the fucking the figures, and so when that came out, I'm not sure. I think that came out before part 2 was the arcade game, but we played both, but that first one was the one that we tried to beat. But just badass. I like Donatello just because of his staff. He had a longer reach and shit. But pretty much that was 2-player, right? Did that allow you to play 2 players on the screen, or was that just the arcade one?
I don't know that one not at the same time. That was the arcade that you could play more than one. I believe the part 2.
Yeah, but I just
remember. I think it was part 2. Was part 2 Turtles in Time?
No, part 2 is just called the arcade game.
The arcade game.
The third one was
3 was the Manhattan Project.
Okay.
And then there was one on the Genesis, something called, I forget, some kind of secret something. But anyways,
which one was the one Turtles in Time?
Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo? Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, just beat them up, type game, the foot soldiers and shit, and then going up against the enemies at the end, like B-Boy, Rocksteady, Bebop.
Which one did you pick? The second one or the first one?
The first one. I love the second one.
Bam!
18, son.
Yeah, boy.
18.
Oh, 19 for Brian.
Yeah, 19 is I don't know why this wasn't named yet, but Sonic the Hedgehog, the second one. Sonic 2.
Yep.
When Tails was introduced. The first one was fun, but I like the second one a lot better. But that was the game that came with my Genesis, so
Yep.
The games that come with your systems initially are the ones you play a lot, so.
Oh yeah, I played the shit out of that.
Everybody played Sonic.
Hey, Friday the 14th. Yeah, Tony, I mentioned California games. So it didn't make my list, but I played the shit out of that too. They had a variety of games like Hacky Sack and what was it, rollerblading and shit like that.
Yeah.
That was fun. All right.
Dude, Sonic was the flagship character for Genesis, like the same like Mario was the flagship character for Nintendo. But a lot of people don't know. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that's not his first appearance in a video game. Sonic actually appeared in 2 other video games before the Sega Genesis game with him. Go look it up. Go look up Sonic's original appearance in a video game. It's some game that was like had him as an enemy rather than the hero. I was reading about this not too long ago, but look that up. It's an interesting side tidbit for you guys. That's not his first appearance in a video game.
PlayStation X Crash Bandicoot. I remember when they came out with that, they tried to make it like their kind of spokesperson. Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah. I mean, it never really took off though, like they thought. I don't think.
No,
You
it
know.
didn't. I mean, the game was pretty good, but yeah, it got kind of stale. But they kind of went with the adult in the costume, kind of like the
Yeah,
commercial.
those commercials,
Hmm.
yeah, they
Yeah.
were pretty cheesy. Those he would drive by and
All
he had
right.
a microphone in his hand and shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
My
My
my. Oh, yours. Go ahead.
what's up?
I was going out of turn.
Is it my turn or is it?
It's
Oh,
your
it's your
turn.
turn.
All right. Sorry. My number 19 is a game I mentioned before, and I showed you where it was in the official Nintendo Player's Guide. But another one, I think Frosty Nice may have had this too, and that is the Goonies 2.
Oh
Wow.
shit!
So it's Goonies. Huh? What's that?
I was saying, how the hell did the Goonies have a sequel to a game and not the movie?
Yeah, there's a story behind that. This game came out in '87. Um, I had it for NES around '89. It's put out by Konami, so Konami put out like a lot of good games. Konami, but I think the story behind Goonies 2 is there actually was a Goonies 1 game. It was called just Goonies, but it was for the system out of Japan, the Super Famicom. And the Super Famicom had the Goonies, just the Goonies game. A lot of it was similar to Goonies 2, but with a little bit different type of gameplay. So it was, and the Fratellis, like more, there was a couple more characters in it. And there was another like ending type for it or whatever. So there was an actually Goonies game that never came out over here in the U.S. So this is Goonies 2, you know. But yeah, Brian's right. We need a Goonies 2 movie.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, that's Goonies 2. That's my number 19, man.
All right.
Yeah.
My number 21 or what? 19? My number
Yeah.
19. I'm surprised this hasn't been mentioned. I think we mentioned it before, John. Just I don't know, just reminiscing or something on a different stream. But that is I'm bad dudes. That was my shit at the arcade. Like,
Oh.
yeah, you remember Bad
Bad
Dudes?
dudes.
Yeah, you're like running on. I didn't get too far on the game, but I remember like the train and shit. Like you're just running on the train and punching people and shit. Uh, But I just remember it was all cheesy when you at the end of the level you're like, oh, I'm bad. It was kind of cheesy. But I like those side scroller games, 2-person, again, similar to Contra, similar to, um, Akari Warriors, that type.
Double
Is
Dragon.
Yeah, Double Dragon, but that's pretty much what it was. So it was like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, yeah, not a whole lot. It was a little stiff. The controls a little stiff, but it was just I don't know. It was cool, man. They wore shades. They were bad dudes. No, number 19.
All right.
All right, we're getting to the
Number
nitty gritty
20.
now.
Number 20 for me is on the cusp as well. It was 1999,
Yeah.
but it was on PlayStation. It was a World War II game called Medal of Honor.
Oh, hell yeah.
That game was fun as hell.
Mm-hmm.
It was a first-person shooters type of game, but it was along the like same thing, same feel as like GoldenEye or something like that. That's what I could compare it to probably. But took place World War II. You'd look for like different World War II artifacts and shit, and you'd be shooting Nazi soldiers and all sorts of stuff like that. But it was just really, really fun, man.
Yeah, I love that
It
game.
didn't have any
Love that game.
didn't have any blood and guts, but it was pretty realistic otherwise for the time.
Yep. That was like one of the only. I never got into like Call of Duty or anything like that, but
Yeah.
Medal of Honor, that was like one of the only first-person shooters that I've enjoyed.
Yeah, I wasn't too big into Call of Duty either. I like Medal of Honor a lot though.
Yeah, fuck. It makes me want to play it. A lot of these games I want to play, see if they hold up.
Yeah, right.
You know? Yeah. Yeah, yo.
That's one. Yeah, Medal of Honor, like Hoarder said, Call of Duty and all that shit. I never really got into playing those games because I wasn't I was in the military. You know, that's something that like I take real seriously because you know some shit I've done in real life. You know, where stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I mean, yeah, I didn't really get into that type of stuff. I think the closest game I could say, I mean, I have played GoldenEye. I think they had that for the Dreamcast, right?
It was
GoldenEye. I think
it
they
was
had
in
that
64.
version.
No, GoldenEye was SNES.
GoldenEye was 64.
Oh, 64, my bad.
It was the big
Okay. I'm
64.
trying to remember. I thought there was some kind of James Bond game for the Dreamcast. I might be wrong, but yeah, I didn't really get
They
into
did
the
it.
first person. Huh?
They did a couple of the sequels to the GoldenEye, like the World Is Not Enough. I know they did on PlayStation 2, I think, and maybe a couple others. There might have been one of the James Bond on Dreamcast.
I thought there was. I thought I had a friend that had the Dreamcast, and there was something that he played on there. It was something like that. But,
Yeah,
all right. Enough said about that.
a lot of.
Uh, 20 number 20 coming in for me, man, is 1987 game for the NES, and I had it around 1989. The Circus Strongman game, and I had a lot of fun with this. This is put out by Data East. I felt like Data East put out a lot of good games, and that is Karnov.
Say
Really,
what?
really, Karnov. Can you see it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I see it.
I've never seen that one.
It was kind of hard in some spots, but a real fun game, Karnov. If you've never played it, you know, if you guys never heard of it, look it up. You know, watch somebody do a game through or whatever. It was like one of the ones that came out for the NES, like around the time that it came out and everything. One of the earlier games. But yeah, a lot of fun. Karnov from 1987. I had it for 89. Actually says on the box too, this was an arcade hit. So Karnov was an arcade hit. So yeah, look up Karnov, guys. Yep.
Check it out.
Number 20. Yep.
Number 20
Water.
was kind of like a sword sorcery type game. I played it at the arcade a lot, but they did have it on the NES. Of course, the arcade was a better experience, but it's a fun game. I like to think that this was like the original God of War, and that is Rygar. You remember Rygar?
Oh.
With
Yes.
with the shield, with fucking spikes, and he threw that shit. That
Yeah, I had that.
that was my shit.
Rygar.
I had that shit
Yeah.
on NES, right? NES.
You have it?
I had it, but I don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
Fuck, I want to collect. This makes me want to collect them again.
Yep.
I might head to a pawn shop and trade some moves or something. Fuck. Sweet.
There you go.
Yeah, yo.
Rygar was. Damn.
Hell yeah.
I had that on my backup.
Damn it.
Number 21.
1983 Atari game. It kind of looked like Thor on a ostrich. Joust.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh.
Fucking cool.
Yes.
I always like that one, man.
Yeah.
Like running around with a spear and shit. That shit was fun. But yeah.
That was my
I played that at the arcade.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Me too.
Damn. Yeah, that game was fun, man.
Yeah, yo.
Fucking only game known that had ostriches in it. So probably even to this day, man. Who knows?
Yep.
Like, who thinks of that shit? All right. I don't know. All right, we were talking earlier about Hudson Soft games.
Yep.
So trying to remember what Hudson Soft game we mentioned. I don't remember what it was. But
Adventure Island.
I felt like Hudson. Oh, Yes, the one Brian had, right, Brian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have another Hudson Soft game here, and this is one that I played quite a bit. Kind of hard to figure out a little bit. You know, it was side scrolling, but there was a lot of puzzle
Let me guess.
elements to it.
Let me guess it. Let me guess it.
What?
Is it Milo's Secret Castle?
Yeah, you motherfucker, you got it.
Yeah,
You
I
got
knew
it.
it. I knew it.
Dude, right here. Mylan's Secret Castle, dude.
Oh, shit.
You played it?
Oh, it's hard, man. It's hard.
Yeah, man. Fuck. I think a few years ago, I remember Frosty Knights came to visit me, and we were at my old house, and we just sat there, and he was playing this fucking game, man. He was just like, he's like, I'm gonna fucking beat this fucking game before I go back home, man. It was just funny, dude. So,
Yeah, it's frustrating, man. It's like there's some doors you didn't even know exist or where to go. It's
yeah.
hard, man. It's a hard game, but fun. Hoorah! You heard of that one, Brian?
What? No, I never heard of that one.
Oh yeah, it's along the same lines of Adventure Island, but it took place like in a castle.
That's cool.
Yeah. John, I think you're frozen. John? John?
John?
John? Do you see him?
Yeah, I see his frozen face.
Oh, you're fucking frozen. All right. So, what number are we on?
21.
21. All right. He said Mylan's Secret Castle. Fuck. I'm gonna go ahead and say this was put out by LJN for the Sega Genesis. It's a weird game, but it was fun, and I know it gets shitted on, but it's Fester's Quest. You ever played that?
Yeah, I played that one, man.
Yeah, it's fucking like I had a good time with it. It's
I
hard.
had a good time with it, but it was hard. Yeah, it was really hard.
Yeah, it was hard as fuck, but yeah, Fester's Quest was fun in the sense the different kind of weapons that you needed.
Yep.
But you know, some of the enemies, like the little blob things, were a little tacky, but it, for the most part, you know, just the Addams family and that type of feel, it was something different. So that's why that made the list. I owned it, but I think that was the time that I just upgraded to. I might have gotten rid of most of my Genesis games because I upgraded to the Sega CD.
Yeah.
Which was a big mistake because that didn't last that long and they didn't put out that many games.
Yeah, they only had like 30 games for that, probably.
Yeah, and a lot of the games had a lot of glitches and it just not that popular. Like not that many. It was too expensive for people to buy. I remember I got mine used at a pawn shop, but it was like none of my friends have played it, so they were like playing my version, and so you know I had like wrestling and what's that one, Tunnel Rat I think it was, and Night Trap.
Sega CD games.
Yeah, Sega CD games.
There was one that I had. It was like badass NBA game, NBA Jam City with Charles Barkley, I think was in it.
Holy shit! Really?
But they actually had like Charles Barkley in it because they, you know, that was their selling point, was having the actual like videos in there.
Yeah, yeah. But it was cutting edge because I think they banned, or Night Trap was like NC, like it was ranked like mature or something like that because it had like rape scene and stuff.
Oh shit!
It's crazy. Yeah. They had like intruders break into the house and you were supposed to set up traps and shit. But
Damn.
if they were successful, they would like rape your wife and shit. It's crazy.
I still have that Sega CD. I just don't have very many games for it.
Yeah, I wonder if you can get what they go for now if you see them at like the flea market or pawn shops.
Probably pretty cheap.
All right. Damn, John's phone must have went dead. So, but that's okay. What was my last game I mentioned?
It was 21. It was Fester's Quest.
Fester's Quest. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You're up. 22.
22 for me is one that's on Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, but I got the Genesis cartridge here. That's Beavis and Butthead, the game.
Oh, I never played that.
Never played it? They're just on the you know the band Guar, the metal band. They're on the way to they're on their way to get tickets to see Guar, and that's their big the big achievement of the game is trying to get to the concert. Because they had tickets or whatever, and they had a dog that like chewed and threw them up or something like that, and you got to find the pieces of these tickets that the dog threw up.
Okay.
So it's just like one of the episodes, man. It's just ridiculous hilarity, man.
Wow.
But once you get to the concert, it's pretty funny. Like just seeing them rock out to the metal music and everything.
I think I saw an episode of Cinemassacre. I think they had like a part 2 or a sequel that like their weapon was a guitar, or was that your game? It's like the guitar would shoot shit out.
I think that might have been another game. I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that must have been the sequel. But
yeah.
Well, shoot.
They had a few of those games like that, where they were copying off of TV shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that going on. But I don't know if John's coming back.
I don't know. Do you have some? Maybe we just start naming. Is there any games? Let's name games after 2000 that would have made the list if we didn't have, that stipulation. Is there any?
Yeah, I was gonna grab one for this video, but it was 2003. I'll get it 1 second.
Okay.
It's Evil Dead game.
Oh yeah.
The Fistful of Boomstick.
Yeah, that was a fun game.
This game is fun as hell, man.
Yeah.
I had a good time with this one. For PlayStation 2.
Yeah. Fuck, I miss those kind of games. There's a rare game, and this is, I got it as a bootleg. Someone, it was banned. There was several games that were actually banned in the U.S. State of Emergency was one of them.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was on Dreamcast, I think.
Yep. Well, it was on PlayStation 2.
Oh, it was? Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if Dreamcast made a more tame version, but it was pretty brutal, man. It was just shoot 'em up. And at the time, Columbine and all that shit, it was pretty bad, man. Like the mall setting and shit, and you're just like fucking spraying people with bullets. Let's see, so there was a fighting game called Thrill Kill. I don't even know if it made a first releasing, but all I know is that my friend, he went to the Philippines, he had visiting family, and then all of a sudden he brought back all these fucking bootleg discs, and one was Thrill Kill, and oh boy, it was like it's a fighting game, but the characters were like, I'm sure you can find footage of it. They're like in an insane asylum, like straight jackets and people with, I don't know, on stilts. It was weird. It was just so gory. Like you're thinking like Mortal Kombat got away with shit. Like this one was like pretty bad, like ripping the appendages. But it was so bloody, man. It was just nonstop. Every hit was like blood splattered, and it was crazy. But yeah, he still has a copy of it. But Thrill Kill was one. And then one that didn't make my list, but I remember playing a lot, was Crazy Taxi.
Yeah, Crazy Taxi would
Yeah.
have been on my list. I think it was 2000 though. I looked it up.
And then, of course, a lot of my time playing PS2 was Grand Theft Auto, Vice City, San Andreas. Those were later, but like, dude, I love those games.
Did
I don't know.
You ever play the Wii at all?
Yep, I played Wii.
You ever played a game called Mad World?
Never played Mad World. What is that about?
It was pretty sick. It's like you're kind of like a chainsaw wielding guy, but it's like a black and white, but it looks like drawing animation the whole game.
Yep.
But he's just running around like destroying people with chainsaw kind of game. It's just ridiculous gore.
Shit. Wow.
It's a crazy gory movie.
Game. For PS2 Manhunt?
Yeah.
Yeah, love Manhunt.
That was
Manhunt 2. That was cutting edge, man.
You were talking about over-the-top games. It wasn't on my list. It probably isn't on your list, but I'll just talk about it anyways. Loaded and Reloaded for PlayStation. They were like over-the-top, like they took place over the top, like kind of Die Hard 1. You know?
Yep. I remember that. Let's see. What else would have made the cuts? Evil. Just thinking any PS3. Like some of the newer ones, if I were to say, all time, it is Last of Us was really good. Last of Us. What else did I play? Uncharted games are fun. Have you played any of those?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
What are those on PS3?
PS3, yes.
No, I stopped at PS2.
Okay. Did you ever have Xbox? I never had Xbox.
No, I never had Xbox. I had Dreamcast. Okay. The only reason I had Wii because I could mod the games, that sort of thing. So I had 100 games.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There was a hack with the Twilight Princess Zelda game.
Yeah.
Where you can get like you can be able to copy the games and play them on there, play the copies on there with the hack.
Oh, okay.
So when I figured that out, I was like, screw the other systems. I can get all the games for free.
Yeah, I know that there's like some modded out. I don't know. Is it like you could get all the Nintendo games?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I wish I could have one of those.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. What up, man? What happened?
My phone died, so I'm doing this on my wife's tablet.
All right. Hey, whatever works, man. We kind of stalled, so we're still at number, what, 22 for you?
22, yeah. My 22 pick, John, was Beavis and Butthead for Genesis.
What was it?
Mine was Beavis and Butthead for Genesis, this one.
Oh, I didn't even know they had a game for that, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, yo.
Interesting. Yeah, yo.
And you
put my headphones on.
My 21 was Fester's Quest.
Ooh.
Yeah, Fester's Quest.
I have that, man.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was a hard.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Let me see. You guys see it?
No.
No. Down more.
Right there?
Nope. Center it.
In front of your face.
Yeah. That's it. I had it for
That's
Genesis.
it. I got it. Oh wow, they had it. I didn't know they had it for Genesis.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. All right, man. My number 22 is a game from the NES, from 1987. I had it around 1988, and it's called Kid Nicky Radical Ninja.
Wow.
There it is. Yep. Pretty fun game, man. You guys never played it? Look it up.
No,
If you guys don't know about it,
I heard of
it's a
I heard of Kid Icarus, but not Kid Nicky.
yeah. Kid Icarus is a good game too. Huh. This is another Data East game, another arcade hit, like Karnov. So yeah, check it out, man. Kid Nicky, Radical Ninja, number 22. All right. Yep.
All right.
All right. All right.
My number 22. It's a fun game. But it was one of those that it did get a little boring, but it was cutting edge because you could fight in it too, and that was Blades of Steel.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that shit was fun because you were just looking to fight and like you just keep on tapping the button to get the punch in. So that's why I like Blades of Steel.
nice.
But it was fun. I mean, the hockey game it was pretty generic, but again, that was like the first hockey game ever. So, Blades of Steel is my number 22.
Sweet.
All right. Number 23. The game that's kind of like Grand Theft Auto, but it's a little more serious in tone. And that's 1999's Driver on PlayStation 1.
Oh, hell yeah.
That was a really fun game.
Yep.
I mean, you had a lot of missions you'd go through, but damn, it was just a blast playing it, man. There were so many like cutscenes too, where they had like videos in there, and you felt like you were like playing a movie, you know?
Yeah, man.
I never heard of that one, dude.
No, my brother.
Yeah, it's just called Driver.
Love that.
It's great. It ended up being one of those greatest hits PlayStation titles.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the green border on the side.
Okay.
Like they're more popular titles they used to do that with. When they
I'll have to check that one out.
They brought them down to $20. They put them as the greatest hits title.
I'll have to check that one out, man.
Yeah, it's good, man.
Sounds cool. All right. That was number, 23 for you, Brian?
3, yeah.
All right. My number 23 is one that I never owned on any console, but I played the fuck out of it at the arcades. You could play 4 people at the same time, and that is Golden Axe from 1989.
Oh, fuck!
Dude, that's a game.
Yep.
Damn it.
That game's legit.
You had that?
No, I don't know.
I love that.
That was my last pick.
I remember playing that shit.
Shit.
You got it?
No, I don't have that, man. I don't even know what system it came out for. Probably SNES, I'm assuming, but I played it at the arcade.
I've had it on Genesis.
Yeah, arcade was the only way I played it, man. Every time, I saw it at any arcade that I went to, I played that game. It was just fun.
Those little fucking, what do you call them? With the bags that you kicked them, and you got little treats, little potions, the little dwarves type deals.
I usually played as the chick. I don't know why. I just liked her character. Like I liked using her character and shit. And the dwarf was good too. So
yeah. But,
yep, Golden Axe.
Golden Axe is badass because you could get on those like little dinosaur dragon things. They rode. Sweet. Love those.
Yeah, it was more than how many? If I'm not mistaken, I know there was part 2. I don't know. There may have been a part 3 even. I know there's a few of them. after the first one. So definitely. All right.
My number 23 was another kind of shooter game, but it was funner to like capture the flag, but it was funner to go against the next person, like split screen, and that was Army Men for PlayStation 1.
Yep.
You ever played any of the Army Men's?
Yeah, they were fun, man.
Yeah, like
the first one.
Damn,
They beat a lot of them.
What?
Okay. I hear all that.
Oh, you can hear it?
Yeah, all that racket, all that ruckus.
Trying to be quiet.
Yeah.
I'm just putting stuff back.
Okay. But yeah,
all the
Army Men, the first one on PS1, but they came out with a lot of different ones, but it was cool because you were like these little plastic Army Men, and then the scenery was like a kid's bedroom and shit. So, but it was just, going against, another person on, you could play like capture the flag and shit, but just enjoyable.
Yep.
Kind of like a Small Soldiers game if Small Soldiers would have came out with a game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Similar to that.
I don't know if they ever did they?
No. They might have, not sure.
I think so.
But it reminds me of like the Army Men that were in the Toy Story movies,
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yep. I wonder if that's where they got the idea from, man. Or vice versa.
They came out around the same time.
Oh, all right. So maybe. Yep. What are we on? 24?
24?
Yep.
All right. 24 for me is a PlayStation title. It's Jackie Chan Stuntmaster.
Whoa, never played it, but I've seen it.
That game's legit, man. It's fucking fun, man.
Yeah. Jackie Chan.
I didn't get
the cartoon or what?
It was a cartoon as well.
Yeah. Okay. Leroy Green in the house. Yeah, yo, crew.
Oh shit! I know. All we need is 4K and MCD, and then we'll be complete.
Yeah, yo.
MCD.
Yeah.
I think MCD called me the other day. He left a message on my voicemail saying he was Blu-ray Dan.
Damn.
Nah, dude.
I was like, I know your voice, man. I think you ain't Blu-ray Dan. It's funny as fuck.
See, I think Brian has probably become part of the Yeah Yo crew because he's not currently affiliated with anybody else right now. So we're gonna have to jump him into the Yeah Yo crew and shit. Or whoever lives closest to Brian needs to go to his house and kick his ass, and then he's part of Yeah Yo crew.
Gotta cord him in.
Yeah. Nah, just playing, Brian.
I'll be friends. I'm friends with anybody. I don't give a fuck. But I'm not one of those.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but you know how it is. Everybody on got the clicks and stuff, but that's all right, man. It is what it is.
Well, obviously, I've been talking to you guys more than anybody else, so.
Yeah, yo.
Yeah, yo.
Yeah, yo. All right, so it was Army Men.
Yep.
For Brian, number 24.
No,
My number 24.
Army Men for Hoarder.
That was me.
What was yours?
Jackie Chan Stuntmaster for me.
Sorry, man, my bad.
Jackie Chan.
I don't know why I did this, but my number 24, I just put away. I took it back out now. It's another Data East game. That's a pretty good company because I got three of them in here for that game. So, it came out in 1990. So towards the end of the NES era, and that is a game called Werewolf: The Last Warrior. I got it right here.
What?
Yeah, yo. Probably one of the only werewolf games that I know, like specifically with a werewolf as the main character.
Hold,
So
hold
from
it up to the other side. The other
And move it
side.
to your left a little bit.
this way.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Right there?
Yeah.
I
Forward.
never
Alright,
seen
you guys.
that. I never seen that
Closer.
game before.
Yep. Werewolf, the Last Warrior. Yeah, man. Check it out. That's my number 24, man.
All right.
So.
All right, my number 24, the original Lara Croft Tomb Raider.
Oh.
Yeah, so Tomb Raider was a shit. Like it was tough, but it was like, man, like some of the fucking puzzles and shit were tough, but what sold me was like the double guns and shit, and you're killing dinosaurs and alligators, just all kinds of shit. It was a good action game, 3D world. But a lot of games nowadays took it off of Tomb Raider. But yeah, man, just played a lot of that shit back in the day.
Angelina Jolie.
Oh yeah.
Yo, they're making a new one, and I want to say, is it Emily Blunt that's playing? Someone's playing, or Olivia Munn. Someone's playing the new Lara Croft.
Oh, an actual live action or the voice of a?
Yep. No, live action movie.
I guess I could see Olivia Munn doing it. So yeah.
Yeah.
They're redoing that shit. Damn.
I guess Angelina Jolie's probably opted out of doing it. So
yeah,
you know, 'cause
she's old. She's too old.
That's fucked up. Well, not only that, but like I don't think she's too old because she's still in phenomenal shape. But I think didn't she have a double mastectomy, like her breast removed or some shit? Because like I think so, dude. Look it up. I think she had either a mastectomy or a double mastectomy or whatever it was.
Oh no, I heard her African children bit her titties off. No, I'm kidding.
So fucked up.
They were starving and like.
Damn.
Damn.
I think she got that little Asian kid too, a little Cambodian kid too, and shit or something.
Thought it was a dog. Oh fuck.
Oh shit.
I'm going to hell.
Racism at its fucking finest up in this bitch tonight.
Yeah,
oh boy.
bro.
Damn.
All right.
We're gonna get carded for hate speech, and I don't want that.
Yeah, yo. What number are we at, and who are we on?
25 now.
Yeah, the last one, man.
For
What
me.
did I say?
You said you're number 24, so now it's Brian's turn.
Tomb Raider.
What did I say? 24 was?
Tomb Raider.
The Tomb Raider.
Oh yeah. Okay. That's what we got. All right. So our last pick, guys. Make it good.
25 for me is another PlayStation title, and it's along the same lines as Resident Evil, but it's a little more prehistoric. It's Dino Crisis.
Oh yeah.
I remember that.
I remember liking that shit a lot. Like, I always loved dinosaurs ever since like I saw Jurassic Park as a kid, and I was into dinosaurs and shit. So that mixed with Resident Evil,
Yeah, yo.
like a horror game with that shit, was pretty cool.
Yeah. I forgot about that one. That is a good one too, man. Yeah, I played that one on my boy's PlayStation.
Yeah.
He was a big PlayStation fan, man, because he owned it. He fucking bought the first one right away. So.
Yep.
That shit was like, dude. If I remember PS1 when it first came out, I think it was like close to 600, if not like that, somewhere around that vicinity, man. But it was up there in price, and he fucking just outright got it on credit. I was like, damn, motherfucker, you gonna be paying this thing off forever and shit. So, but yeah, man. All right, so number 25, last but not least, coming in for me at 25, it's for the Sega Genesis. I know Brian knows it, Hoarder knows it. I'd never seen a game like this before. I saw this game. It came out in 1980. Yeah, it came out in 1988. And I had it for Sega Genesis around 93. It does feature a werewolf in it, a dragon, a guy, and that's Altered Beast,
Altered
baby.
Beast.
Yep.
Altered Beast. Love that game, man.
That was fun, man.
Yep. That's my number 25. That's the end of my list, people. So,
Altered Beast.
yeah. Yep. I know you remember that one, Brian.
Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was like when they would change and shit. It was on, baby. Fucking
Well,
shit
a lot of people say that's where the term beast mode came from Altered Beast, because
it did.
beast mode. You went in. Yep.
It did.
So
That was one
that's
of
the shit, though.
One of the first Genesis titles too.
Yeah, a lot of the systems came with it. Okay. So, as you know, my 25 was Golden Axe. But this is something. What's funny is that my first alternate or second alternate was something very similar, but it was an overview scroller. You can play 4 people at a time. I played the shit out of it at the drive-in. Like, there would be like a double feature movie, and I would ask for like $5, and I would play my ass off through the whole movies. And that was Gauntlet.
Oh, yes.
Remember that?
Yes,
you could
dude.
be the elf. You could be that. That was my shit, man. Like you would. It was just like a fucking shoot 'em up, kill 'em up type deal. I would usually play the dwarf with the axe and shit. But there was there was an elf, there was that girl, and then a wizard. I think a barbarian or wizard.
Yeah, barbarian. Those are the two I always get confused, like Golden Axe and Gauntlet, because they're very similar, dude. You know what I mean? Like,
but Gauntlet is more of an overview, and then you're just going like room to room and clearing out the rooms, and then trying to find like the key or something.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to kill everyone to go through the door. So, but you know, it got redundant.
Mm-hmm.
But it like to me it was a game that I loved playing. And then they made it more into like a 3D version later on the later consoles. But I just like I think they made one on Atari, but it was bad. It was gay. But I just remember the ones at the arcade. Gauntlet.
Yeah, I definitely played a lot of Gauntlet too, man.
Mentions that we did.
Isn't it Brian's number 25, or he finished?
No, we done. That
okay.
was our list. So
all right.
Into mentions, stuff that we would like to share, show, mention that didn't make our list.
All right. What you got, Hoarder? What you got?
Okay, so a couple of them are RPGs, similar in style, and they're called. One is called Wild Arms. Another one was Vandal Hearts, and another one was Legend of Dragoon. So all those were similar to Final Fantasy, just stuff. Great story, great graphics. Love those ones. And then some older ones that didn't make the cut that I remember playing at the arcade was Centipede, Frontline. You ever played a game called Frontline?
Sounds familiar.
Okay, that was like kind of like a Akari Warriors.
Okay.
And then Russian Attack. You remember Russian Attack?
Yes, I might have that. I'm not sure. I remember playing that though. Yeah. I might have that, dude. I'm looking.
Like for the most part, like common games, how much can you buy them for? NES games at the flea markets. $5?
It varies, dude, depending on the game and the rarity of the game. Like some are like you gotta watch these flea market fucks too. because they'll overprice shit. If you don't do your research, you just go there as a dummy. They'll be like, they'll charge you like 15 for like a Duck Hunt and Mario when you could probably get that shit for like $2 anywhere else.
Okay.
But it definitely varies, dude. Like pawn shops, flea markets, fucking yard sales. It depends. If people are more tech savvy nowadays, so they know what they got. So they go online, they look, oh, well, I see this person selling it for this much. So I'm going to try and sell it for that much. You know? At the end of the day, man, it's all what you want to pay for the motherfucking game. So you got to haggle with these bitches sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep.
Looking to see if I got Russian Attack. I thought I had that.
How about Kung Fu?
I got Tomb Raider and Sega Saturn, bro.
Oh, nice.
Oh. We.
Remember Kung Fu? Kung Fu Master?
Yep.
Kung Fu was fun.
Yep.
You ever played this one, Vector Man? This is fun.
Oh, yeah. That was a good one. Toe Jam and Earl.
Yep. Toe Jam and Earl. Yep. We still got Earthworm Jim.
Yeah.
We still got viewers or what?
Yeah, we still have 5 viewers.
Nice.
Kid Deathstroke, Leroy Green, a troll.
A troll.
Yeah.
Was the troll talking shit or what?
I don't know. He's some terrorist or Arabian motherfucker that can't speak proper English.
That's so fucked up. Oh my god.
Bitches, how are wasting their time on YouTube?
On YouTube, probably is what he meant.
Either way, blocked.
What about Booger Man? You guys remember Booger Man at all?
Yeah, dude. Remember that shit.
Boogers and he farted and shit.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
How about
It's called a pick and flick adventure. Is what it says.
You remember at the arcade Pit Fighter?
Yes.
Yep.
That was a versus game. I remember that.
Yeah. How about fucking Shinobi or Ninja Gaiden? Gaiden.
That's on my backup list, man. Both of those.
Legend of Cage.
Dude, I have Legend of Cage.
Yeah. The girl ninja?
The fuck is it? I have that shit. Awesome game, man. Yeah. I want to show you guys some stuff, man. Oh, right here. Here it is. The Legend. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, dude. That's it.
There it is. That's it. Yep. I bought this for probably like $5, $7.
Wow.
This fucking game. This is my wife's game. Cause she played Nintendo back in the day too. But this game is notorious for being hard as fuck at the end, and that's Roger Rabbit.
Yep.
Yeah, that is hard.
What else?
I remember PS1 Tenchu, that ninja
Tenchu.
game. That was dope. Tenchu was dope. Tekken Tag Team Tournament was dope.
Yes. I love that game.
Yep. RC Pro-Am, dude. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
On the regular NES.
Yep.
But
that was a good one.
One that I used to play with like college buddies was the first WWE Raw, where you could actually make characters. We would make like Spider-Man, Link, Super Mario. We would have try to make the costumes look like that, and they looked pretty good. And then you could wrestle with them. It was dope.
Thor, yep, Thor, fucking shit like that, yo.
Cool Borders, that was dope. I love Cool Borders too. Sled Storm. You ever had played Sled Storm? That was like a snowmobile game that had White Zombie did the soundtrack. It was dope.
Oh wow! Did that come out before 2000 or what?
No, it was after. I mean, it was before. Late 90s.
What you got, Brian?
Dig Dug.
Oh, yes.
Dig Dug.
Me.
Dude, one of my favorite arcade games. Actually, I played the shit out of that, man.
Yep.
Another arcade.
Bionic Commando.
What's that? There was a game. You were talking about a game with White Zombie, right?
Yeah, Sled Storm.
What's the game with? There was a game with Aerosmith in it. It was like it had an X in the title. I remember on PlayStation. It was like Generation X or some shit. But yeah, Aerosmith was in it. No, it was on PlayStation. It was an old game.
We got a Sega Genesis game right here. This is another fighting game. I don't know if Brian probably knows about it, or maybe rented it or what.
What's the game?
Eternal Champions. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yep. That was a fun game.
That one.
Yep. Got that.
It was Revolution X was the name of the game I'm talking about.
What is it?
Revolution X. It has Aerosmith in it.
Oh, Rebel X. What is it, like a sledding game or?
No, it's Revolution X. It's like a shoot 'em up game.
Oh, okay. I got fucking Spider-Man, X-Men, Arcade's Revenge for the Super NES.
Down a little bit.
Put out. Can you see that?
Yeah, I see it now.
Put out by LJN.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've played that one.
Yep. That's another.
You remember the Spider-Man on Atari? That one was a joke, dude.
I do remember that, man, actually.
That was bad.
Oh, nobody said this Nintendo character. He was kind of a big character back then.
Yeah,
Kirby.
Yeah.
Yep, I got that.
It was the first one was on Game or whatever. What's it called? Game Boy.
Yeah.
The first game.
The first Kirby game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got. Anybody say Pitfall?
No.
Nope.
I have it on Atari though.
Got fucking Pitfall, the Mayan Adventure for Super NES. If you guys can see.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Yep, got that.
How about like 1942 Legendary Wings?
Yeah, I remember that with the angel on the cover for NES.
Yeah.
Was that one you talking about? Where he had a gun in his hand and shit? I think that's the one that you mean. That's a good one.
How about
I got
Narc?
who?
Narc.
Narc.
It was an arcade game. I don't know if they made it into a console game, but it was like you were like a SWAT team or something and trying to get like drug dealers. It was weird. It was.
I don't know if I remember that one, dude. Fucking
Choplifter?
That one sounds familiar. Blowing the game.
This thing got eaten up by my dog, but I'll show it anyways. Remember this thing, the Game Genie book, man?
Yeah, man. Shit.
Which one?
Game Genie, bro. For NES.
Wow.
I didn't hear you.
Game Genie book.
Game Genie.
Yeah, Game Genie.
Yeah, I have the old school book from NES, man.
Yeah, I had the PS. The PS1 had a Game Shark. I had the Game Shark.
Game Shark, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. You remember a game called Quicks with like lines? They just like shot lines and shit. I don't know. I just remember playing that on Commodore. Quicks and Zaxxon? You remember
Zaxxon.
Yeah.
Yes. Zaxxon. That was, I think, I want to say Atari had that too, I think.
Oh, is
Zaxxon.
it? Okay.
I believe so.
But Defender was dope.
Centipede. Yep.
Double Dribble, Bases Loaded.
I got Double Dribble.
Bust the Groove. I used to play that on PS1. That was pretty fun. It was one of those where it was a dancing game, but you would just follow like square X and you would time it, and then they would dance. They would do better dance moves. Oh, it's a fun game.
What year did fucking Parappa the Rapper come out? Remember that fucking game?
Yeah, it's similar to that. About the same time. That was like 96.
Okay. Nice.
I remember that shit.
Yeah, Rapper. How about NFL Blitz?
Yeah.
Yep.
That was fun.
That was fun.
I got fucking NBA Live 95 for Super NES.
Hell yeah.
Shit.
I had that exact game.
Oh, you had the same one?
No, for PlayStation 1. And
oh,
NBA
okay.
Live.
NBA Live 98 for PlayStation 1 was my shit for a while.
Which one?
Yeah, that was a shit.
98. NBA Live 98 for PS1.
Yep.
Anyone in the chat? Any games we mentioned or didn't mention that we forgot?
Yeah, it's deceased.
Huh. This was a pretty fun game for Nintendo NES. Dragon Power.
Never seen
like Zelda.
How many do you have?
Yep.
About, John? How many NES? 50? 20?
Probably about 30.
Okay.
You know what's great?
Huh?
You know what's a great fucking NES game that nobody mentioned?
What?
Fucking Kung Fu, man. Kung Fu.
Yep. I wish I had that. That was a fun game.
Which one? Kung Fu?
Kung Fu, yeah.
Yeah. No, that should be common, John.
Oh yeah, it's not hard to find. It's just like it's one that I don't have. You know, like I haven't had that for like forever. I used to, one of the games I did have that a lot of people don't like that I liked was the Karate Kid, like based on the movie and shit.
Yeah.
I had that game. It was fun.
I think I remember playing that. Like they had that one on Karate Kid Part 2 where you had to break the ice. I don't know. You're frozen.
I think I know what you're talking about, Order.
Yeah, that you had to break the ice. Like.
Yep.
I think, let's see, like most of my childhood, like I said, was NES, Sega Genesis. Were there any other wrestling games? There was a WWE, like the Battle Royal that I liked. Metal Gear Solid 2 was dope.
Yep. There was a wrestling game that I liked a lot. I just can't think of the name of it.
Okay.
It was, fuck. It was on NES, but it had, on the cover it had Hulk Hogan ripping apart his shirt.
Oh, okay. Probably like, was it Main Event? I don't know.
I think it was just WWF WrestleMania.
Okay.
I'm looking it up right now. It's from '89. Yeah, it's on Wikipedia. I'm looking up Wikipedia for some of these games. Yeah, it's from '89. It's got Hulkster ripping apart his yellow shirt on the cover.
I am a real.
Yeah, it was more of a punch and kick game.
Commando.
Yep, I am a real American.
Did they make a Predator game?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, they did? Jeez.
I'm pretty sure they did. I had never had it, but...
John, you hear us? John?
I
John,
see you. I see you, John. Can't hear you though.
speak. Say something. Oh, we hear nothing.
He hit the mute button or something.
No mute. Plug in your. Take out your headphones. Maybe that's it. Hello? God damn! Nothing. All right. Interesting. All right. So, anyone in the chat have anything? John, about to end it. Game of Thrones is on. So, next week we're gonna do. You guys either would rather do songs, pre-2000 favorite songs, or artists or bands. What would you guys want to do?
I'd rather do bands first rather than songs. You can go songs after the bands.
Okay, so let's do top 25 pre-2000. So they have to have existed or have a song before the year 2000. So no Justin Bieber, John. So it's he said fuck that shit. So it's either it's artists, either rappers or bands. Top 25 bands. Sound good? And you can't put
Yep.
yourself, John. You can't put yourself. So, on behalf of John Steele,
I have no vote. I can't talk.
Yeah, he can't talk. He says, "Thank you, guys." Yeah, yo. That's what he said. Check out his new video, his out and abouts.
I saw it. It's good.
From the city to the burbs. Check that out. But we'll be back next week. He works next weekend, I take it, so we'll do it on a Sunday night at midnight. You cool with that, Brian?
Yeah.
All right, at midnight. So always a pleasure, Brian.
All right.
Official. He got corded in. Yeah, yo.
Hey, yo.
Crew. All right, we out. Thanks for watching, guys. See you, Brian. Steele.
See ya.
See you in a minute. Peace.
Guess word is out.